The Utes coming out in red, all red today. 56 degrees, bright sunshine, very little wind. It is just a glorious football Saturday. The Ducks making their way out to Rice-Eccles Stadium. It is Oregon and Utah in our Pac-12 Saturday kickoff, but a huge game with all kinds of championship importance. It's presented by Valvoline, and right now let's check in on the sideline and say hi to Cindy Brunson.
Hi, fellas. Cannot tell you how wonderful it feels to be outside on November 19th, mind you, in 56 degrees with temperatures going on the way up. Look for a guy on the sidelines who stands 6'2". He weighs 225, and he looks like Clay Matthews, and he's also the Utah punter, Mitch Wishnowski. He leads the nation in punt average, nearly 49 yards per, and of punts of 50 yards or more. So if the Utah offense struggles today, they will rely on that big leg to flip the field for them. Fellas, back to you.
All right, Cindy, well, that little Australian connection has worked, hasn't it? From Tom Hackett, who was outstanding here, now to Wishnowski, and of course Andy Phillips finishing his Utah career, the former U.S. national ski team members, but an outstanding place kicker for Kyle Whittingham.
Well, it flips the field. I mean, you're looking at a very young offense, 4 redshirt freshman offensive line going up against the best D-line they've seen all season long. And for Kyle Whittingham, you know he's going to bring the heat for Mark Helfrich's young offense.
It's amazing when you look at the records. A lot of people know well about Mark's first 3 years at Oregon, how much they've won. I think Kyle Whittingham is one of the, if not the most unheralded coach in college football. The brilliance he's done over a decade and shepherding Utah into not just this conference, but now the top level of the conference.
It's a great point. They didn't waver from their plan.
All right, Utah to kick it off. Right to left as we get going here in Salt Lake City. And of course that altitude helped kick drives Charles Nelson out the back. Touchback for Oregon. Justin Herbert out.
Today it's going to be all about his confidence. Can he make plays after potential errors, critical errors? Does he have that type of mentality? Because he's going to see a lot of different defenses. We'll be watching the safeties all afternoon long for Utah. They're going to give you one look and change it pre-snap. Can he trust his eyes and gain confidence snap after snap? Because he's got the arm talent to make plays on this Utah secondary.
So right away, watch Hunter Dimmock. He is lined up near the bottom on that defensive front. Royce Freeman with the ball fake. And off play action, quick throw. And that's going to drag the ball out across the 35-yard line to Evan Bayless. We should note that Pharaoh Brown did not travel for the Ducks.
You see Oregon going tempo right off the bat. When you're on the road, you don't have your full roster. You've got to try to take the crowd out of it and see if you can play as fast as possible. So you don't have to think on offense.
Royce Freeman, the running back, to start. Again, pulls the ball back and has a wide open man. So 2 play action throws. And Oregon will be inside the Utah 45 as Johnny Munt takes that one.
Well, if there's one area of this Utah defense that's a little suspect, it's the inside linebackers. Cody Barton right there. He's the inside back who gets sucked in the run-pass option. Easy completion.
And now it is Freeman who gets the call, and he's dragged down. Good pursuit across the defensive front there by Lowell Lotulelei. And this is going to be, Yogi, you have to break this down and figure, for Freeman to have a day today, can Oregon's offensive line block Utah's defensive front?
Well, the beautiful thing in Oregon's scheme, they just got to get a body inside of a body. They don't have to physically win at the point of attack. They just got to create a little bit of a seam.
Coming off the corner, Herbert got rid of it, and it's broken up. Trying a quick one to Bayless. Justin Thomas on the pass breakup for Utah, and Herbert was about to get banged from the backside.
Well, it's all a quick game, and there's a reason why. Look at the pressure coming off the edge, and who is it? Chase Hansen. He's playing at an all-conference caliber level. 3 picks in the last 4 games.
So now a long third for Oregon. And they empty Freeman out. Everybody left. Now 3 to block. Can Freeman make yards after the catch? He's going to get close. He'll be 3 yards short, and that gain may give Mark Helfrich a cause to go for it.
Yeah, I think if you're Oregon, you've got to continue to create confidence. This is a team right now, they hope things go well. I don't think they got enough confidence to know that they're just going to be able to run a variety of plays and get yardage. So early on, see if you can grow that confidence.
Charles Nelson along the bottom, 4th down. And Herbert to keep it. And he is banged down, and I think he's short. Herbert looked like that last cut was going to get it, and he got stopped. And the mark, I think, is going to be a half a yard short.
So you love the play call, right? It's a run pass option. He keeps it, reads the edge. But it's like you got to know that where the sticks are. And if I'm him, he's a long guy, a little tall right there. Next year, he gets the first down. He understands. He gets a little lower.
Boy, Chase Hansen, I mean, stopped it. You talk about stopping forward progress. Oh, right there.
Former quarterback. He knows a thing or two about where the sticks are. I mean, his functional football acumen is phenomenal.
Yeah, you're going to stretch this out, but they're well short. So the Utes, after the 2 passes got Oregon going, the first down play by Lotulelei disrupted the Oregon drive.
Lotulelei is such a special player. They said last year when you watched him, he was just average in practice but dominant in games. Said this year it's completely flipped, and he's also become a vocal leader. Making plays like that is only going to help your cause in the defensive front.
All right, so now the challenge flips, and the Oregon defense gets tested here against a Utah offense that has run very well this year. Troy Williams has been effective in the throw game. Right away they start, and Oregon bottles up Williams. Joe Williams, that is, as we look at quarterback Troy.
What a unique path. I mean, we're talking about Joe Williams and his story. Well, Troy Williams is pretty impressive as well. Goes to the University of Washington, actually plays in a game for them, ends up transferring, goes to Santa Monica Community College, balls out a year ago. Now he's starting for one of the top teams in the country. And when we talked to him yesterday, it was all about his confidence. He says, you know what, it's just grown all season long. And now you'll see at the line of scrimmage, more so than any other game, he's going to have more command. He can change plays, and it's because of the way his work ethic is and his study habits.
And he pulled the ball down, and he drills it off the right side. Good throw there. Siosi Wilson, and Utah's across midfield.
Watch Troy Williams' eyes from the back, and he just looks at that defensive player. He manipulates him out to the outside, and it's a second hole on that slant route. And these wide receivers, Ted, they've all developed. You know, majority of them in their 3rd year at least in the program. Siosi Wilson, an explosive player. They liked him last year, his development they were excited about. In the last couple games, he's come on.
16 yards on that throw, and that's something we've seen different, I think, from when we saw Utah early in the year, Yogi, as they take the big shot here for Patrick. And it's just out of his hands. Ooh, that was close. Hugo Amadi on the cover for the Ducks. You were kind of suspecting they'd take an early deep shot.
Well, I think you have to. You know, if this team's going to win the Pac-12 South, they're going to have to win downfield. And that's a great play by Amadi. He's really been the most consistent performer in the back end for Oregon. But keep in mind, when he started the season, he wasn't starting. He started the last 3 games, this being his 4th. He's a really unique player, only a second-year player, and that's kind of the, you know, the idea of this defense. They're all so young. It's become a theme.
Second down, run play. There's a big hole. So, the very thing Yogi Roth just talked about in the open, that you play a couple of solid downs of defense, but then you get gashed for the explosive hit, a 20-yard run by Joe Williams.
And he gets set up by that senior, Isaac Asiata, the left guard. Great job pulling, puts a body on a body, and Joe Williams does the rest. True freshman Brendan Schooler, welcome to Salt Lake City, man.
Joe Williams needs 61 yards coming into today to get to 1,000. And remember, again, he was out for a while this year. Troy Williams going to take it himself and runs out of bounds. Got inside the 25. Well, of course, he had the mammoth game, 332 at UCLA.
I mean, ridiculous. And UCLA, I think, is the most improved defense in the conference this year, and that's the one game for them where they really struggled. And it's because of the run-pass option stuff they do. Troy Williams puts a lot of pressure on you. He's not a quarterback who's going to run for 100, but he's going to scare you every time. And he's a big quarterback, and he's all of 6'2". He's 200 plus. And he is, when you shake his hand, you say, whoa, this guy looks like he could be a tight end.
Reverse. Corey Butler-Bird. Nice cutback. Butler-Bird with a spectacular run. And the pylon is in. Touchdown, Utah. Fabulous individual effort by Corey Butler-Bird.
Whoa. You want to talk about the development. Troy Dye came out of his shoes. The effort at the end, and This is awesome. I mean, this is the explosiveness. We were curious about this team. After a year ago, losing Britton Covey, who is going to be that guy? Corey Butler-Byrd, since he's been healthy, wow, he's been electric.
And that is a difference from when we saw Utah in the middle of the season when their receivers were banged up. Patrick was hurt, Butler-Byrd was hurt. Now they've had Wilson and Singleton develop as well as the return to health of the other two. And Corey Butler-Byrd, what an open field move he made to set this up.
Look at the setup right here. Put that foot in the ground. See ya! House call. Corey Butler-Byrd, senior day. Utes up early. Welcome back and take a look. You got Troy Dye right here. You got Khalil Oliver. Just follow them as the play goes on. And you'll see the athleticism of Corey Butler-Byrd. You call it a one-cut move. Right here, right from the guard. Boom, there's the killer crossover, Ted. Come back again. You want some more? Boom, one more time. And now it's just an effort play to the end zone. That is legitimate athleticism that did not exist when Utah got to the Pac-12 conference on this roster.
All right, this kick may be coming back. It is. Nelson. And a little bit of an alley to the sideline. And he's to the 25. There's a flag down.
I think they're going to get a hold on the Ducks and bring it back.
Chris Coit, our referee.
Receiving team number 97. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
There's something refreshing about that. You notice? When the referee throws the flag, there's no confidence. Just announce it.
And this move again, I mean, that's big time. So often you see athletes that want to dance and play around. It was just one cut. That to me is something you work and work. And Guy Holiday, the wide receiver coach at Utah, has been a secret sauce to this team's development at that position.
He was visiting with Kyle Whittingham here earlier this week. That's the position he talked to me about was the receivers. And then we saw the middle of the year when they were a little beat up there. Very beat up on running back, and now they're trying to beat on Royce Freeman a little bit. And that was Luafatasanga that started that play for Utah. I mean, you just think about what Utah did the last game they played. It was 10 days ago at Arizona State. In one game to have 22 tackles for loss and 11 sacks, that is sick.
They wrecked the entire game for the Sun Devils.
Herbert to keep it. Barton was out there on the edge. Forced Herbert to try to turn it in, and then Luafatasanga finished.
The problem with trying to run at the edges of this defense is they're so disciplined. You see Hunter Demick, just beautiful, keeps his feet squared, his shoulders squared, everybody else rallies to the football. I think if you're going to beat Utah, I would attack in between the hashes in the passing game. Attack the backers, attack these safeties.
At 3rd and 8, Oregon trying to get out of this bad drive start. 4 rush. And then Herbert waits and gets Nelson. And so he went exactly where Nelson's still going. At some point they're going to rip that ball out, but went right where you said, between the hashes to Charles Nelson.
A really nice job of Justin Herbert, too. Right before the snap, you see the safeties, Marcus Williams, Chase Hansen, they punch out and play 2 deep safeties. Justin Herbert, the coaches have always talked about his acumen being similar. I know it's dramatic, but to Marcus Mariota. And when you study him, his eyes would dictate that that's extremely accurate.
Right, Freeman. Well, there's the Royce Freeman. Now how many yards does he drag Cody Barton? From the point of contact, he dragged him about 4 more. And that's the Freeman we've come to expect.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it's a really nice job with the left side of the offensive line. You see where they block, they push the defensive lineman to the sideline. That's given a crease to Royce Freeman. So, you know what, all right, attack the middle of this defense. If we can put a body on a body, this is what Oregon has done from Chip Kelly to now. It's the athleticism of the O-lineman, not their brute strength.
That was a yak run. That was 4 yards after contact, and now Herbert is going down. He tried to cut back inside Dimick, and Hunter Dimick will get a new school record there. That'll be his 28th career sack.
And Justin Herbert, you just got to take what the defense gives him. You see him right off the bat. You see the back coming out of the back, but he's got him. His eyes immediately going to take a shot down the middle of the field, and this ball game will be dictated by Justin Herbert, understanding just take the defense, what they give you.
And that pins Oregon back to 3rd down. Tried that quick screen again. And there's a broken tackle for 1st down yardage. So Oregon, individual making a play there. Jalen Brown is going to get pinned back behind the line to gain, but he broke a hit.
And there's so much made of Oregon's record and the struggles they've had. They still lead the conference in explosive plays.
Yes.
That's their 68th play over 20 yards on the season.
It's one of those years, Yogi, and we've talked to Mark Helfrich, like most teams, crews do each week. There's a nice spin back. Tony Brooks-James gets it out near midfield, where a lot of stuff doesn't add up. And I asked Mark this when we talked to him the other day. You look at the sheet, Oregon's run numbers look good. But yet, you don't feel, Mark didn't feel like they've been able to control with the run game the way they'd like to.
It's a great point. I mean, this offense has dictated terms for so many years. This year, they haven't been able to do it.
Herbert goes to the outside, just enough for a first down. Johnny Munt on the catch. This will be likely, unless Royce Freeman explodes here in the last 2 weeks, it's going to break a run. Oregon's had a 1,000-yard runner 9 straight years. Probably won't get there this year.
You know what I love about Matt Lubick, the offensive coordinator for Oregon now? You're seeing a lot of 2 tight end sets. Every D coordinator in the country say that is the hardest personnel to defend. They can run out of it, they like to throw out of it, move their tight ends all over the field.
And that's different, isn't it, for Oregon?
Yeah.
And that's not an unusual formation as Brooks-James gets the carry.
Well, you expected their receivers to be a major point of emphasis and strength this year. Dwayne Stanford goes down. Darren Campton hasn't been what you'd expected throughout the season for a variety of reasons, right? 2 quarterbacks and young offensive line with these tight ends. You get the defense to play base defense. Utah loves to play a lot of nickel defense.
3 receiver bunch to the right, and Herbert goes underneath there, and there's Munt again. So Johnny Munt having a big first quarter, and Oregon has a first down.
Again, a really nice job of same personnel. They're sticking with that same personnel. They're not allowing Utah to run different defenders on or off the field.
Freeman, the running back. He gets it. Nice cut inside the hash, and that's a good first down gain of 5 for Royce Freeman.
There's so much of the chess match in football is the first 2 drives of the game. What are they playing to this personnel? What are they doing to this formation? You've seen that bunch formation multiple times throughout this ball game.
Now it's empty. 2 top, 3 to the bottom. And Demick comes in, and Demick has his 2nd sack of the first quarter. Hunter Demick having just an astounding year. 14th sack this year.
Well, he's at the bottom of your screen against Calvin Throckmorton, and it's easy. He just rolls right by him. There's an intimidation element when you watch Mr. Demick on film.
3rd and 7. And now they broke it up, tried to run a little screen there to Jaylen Brown, but Utah was sensing that. Demick stayed back, actually. Allowed someone else to rush inside him. You let Fotu kind of curl inside and get in at the quarterback, and Demick's laid back there.
We talked to Demick yesterday. Surprisingly, he was a quarterback back in the day. He said, all of a sudden I put 40 pounds on after my freshman year in high school, and it was defensive line the rest of the way. But his acumen for the game is obvious.
Our field goal try here by Schneider from 47.5. Taylor Ali, the holder. And a little, again, altitude helping, and Schneider puts that one through easily. Well done by Aiden Schneider to get the Ducks their first points. Pac-12 football is presented by Valvoline, now celebrating 150 years under the hood. For more on the storied history of Valvoline, visit teamvalvoline.com. By Dr. Pepper, it's a college football tradition. And by T-Mobile, switch to the network built for unlimited data. Wow, I assumed that it was David Feldman, our producer, who was eating for free there. I guess Kyle Whittingham does, huh?
Pretty good. Right underneath Steph Curry.
Ty Burrow is a big fan. Martin Short. All right, kickoff here. I'll go out of bounds for the Utah touchback. Kyle Whittingham touched on this a bit ago. 12 years. He's been most of his life at Utah. 23 years total at Utah, right? 12th year as the head coach. And earlier this week, he said something that I was startled by, talking about the big picture, because they went through a couple of 5-7 years early in this group, the senior group. And now they're having 3 terrific years of competing at the top of the Pac-12. And Kyle said 80% of his current roster wouldn't be here if we were not in the Pac-12.
It's accurate, especially these skill position players.
Joe Williams outside left, breaking tackles. And Joe Williams, first down run for first down.
You look at what Utah's done since they joined the Pac-12, and you reference our conversation with Kyle Whittingham. He said, look, we recruit, we develop, and we manage. And it's a great example. Okay, they're going to get players that have that acumen to play here and fit in this culture. They develop the daylights out of them. And look at some of these players. None of them are five-star prospects coming out of high school. They develop the daylights out of them. Then they manage them on and off the field. Senior day, so many players done so well academically. He's a top 10 coach in the country.
All the time in the world to go. The comeback on the far side is caught. And that's going to be, let's see where they mark that. I believe it's going to be a first down mark. Going to be just shy of midfield for Raylan Singleton.
Really nice job. He's dropping his hips, boom, and he's out. Coming back to the ball. And that throw, that is a graduate level throw. That is a big time throw from Troy Williams. And every week he gets more and more consistent in the quote unquote throw game that Kyle Whittingham likes to reference.
And how about that connection with Singleton in Tempe? 3 scores. So 2 plays, 2 first downs. That quick throws. Dropped there, Johnny Reagan on the tackle.
Yeah, he's a great story.
Tyler Cooperwood on that catch.
You know, didn't know how much Reagan would come back in this season. You know, missed a bunch of games. Missed 4 prior to the game a week ago against Stanford. They say his grit, his leadership on a really young defense has kind of kept this thing together. Because this team hasn't quit. You know, I think that's always talked about because of the numbers they give up. But when you watch them, the effort they play with would definitely not dictate this is a team giving up.
Let's spread the field and get Joe Williams outside. And Joe Williams banging it down to the 35.
There's a phrase in coaching called tilt the field. When he catches the ball, it's almost like he's running downhill, tilting the field, picks up a block, and he just keeps moving. I mean, his burst is really unique. And you ask him about his practice habits, Ted. They do a 2-minute drill on Wednesday in practice. 2-minute drill. You're supposed to put the ball down and spot it. He runs all the way to the end zone. It's just his mentality all the time. He thinks he's going to score.
2 proud Pennsylvanians here today. Yogi Roth and Joe Williams from Allentown. We were back down at the line. Oregon does a nice job there defending that. Justin Hollins.
You know, they got some young edge players that have done a solid job this year. Justin Hollins, Jalen Jelks, both sophomores. They moved Jonah Moy to the rush end position. Henry Mondu, probably the most consistent player they've had on the defensive front. And they've been banged up. There's so many injuries to that defensive line this year.
And Zach Moss in the game. Gets his first carry. Nice cut back, and he'll give Utah a short third just inside the 30.
You know, so much celebration on the running back position, whether it was Moss earlier in the year, Joe Williams obviously recently, but it's really this offensive line. I mean, they are incredible. I mean, you thought it heading into the season. They start off the season, play one of their worst games here on the offensive front against Southern Utah. They rally. All of a sudden, the cohesiveness among this group has been as good as anybody in the Pac-12.
And in motion, and Moss is going to dive ahead. I think he's going to be marked down. He will be marked down just short of the first.
And they'll go for this one 100%. Sam Tev, you see him at the right tackle. Nice job. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Utah fans, the musts, you can hear them. They're not terribly... Yeah, they're not enthused about that spot. And apparently Chuck McFerrin up in the booth isn't either. Chuck just stopped the game to take a closer look.
Little inside zone handoff. You know, that fly motion, it makes those linebackers hesitate. And if he doesn't lose his footing, this might be a house call. It's going to be that left knee. Yeah. I think it's going to remain a little short.
With all of the technology we have today, all of this is still, and I'll tell you what, I see it on Sundays as well. Spotting the football it's hard, but it's the thing that I think is most missed in the game of football is accurate spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it Sundays by a yard and a half sometimes. And I don't blame the human beings at the speed at which the game's played.
Yeah. And his knees down. They're going to be short. And you know, Kyle Whittingham, this is a prime time where they're going to go for it.
Well, we were talking about Utah, and we've talked, Yogi, about this the last couple of years. So much similarity in the programs between Stanford and Utah in the way they were playing. Line play, physical line play on both sides, running the ball, and throwing enough to be balanced, right?
It's a great call, and this year they're a threat throwing the ball.
Yes.
You know, they really are. One of the biggest gets they got this year is a guy that Utah also recruiting, Garrett Bowles, left tackle. You saw him in that play, number 72. Kind of boxes out the defender, allows Moss to sneak through. But you're right, it's exactly the MO of this team. And it's the MO of any Pac-12 champion. You look at the last decade. They've been dominant in rush defense, really positive in the turnover differential. You got to create some explosives here and there. And this year, finally, they've been able to do it.
All right, taking a long time to play this out.
And they called it short.
All right, here's Chris Coit.
After review, the ruling of the runner short of the line to gain stands. 4th down.
So it is short. It's short by about a half yard.
I tell you, I'm running to my left. I'm following the senior Isaac Asiata, Garrett Bowles, who's playing at an All-American caliber level at left tackle.
Good compliment right there. So here comes Utah, plenty of time to decide their call. Joe Williams to the left of Troy. And they try to run right. Wow, Oregon bottles that up. And there's a Ducks defensive highlight.
And, you know, that's the part that's probably most frustrating at times for this Oregon fan base is they put it together at times, and sometimes it doesn't look very good. But this is all Troy Dye getting in there, number 35. This is an effort play. The defense, huge stop, little momentum change here at Salt Lake.
Pac-12 football presented by Valvoline. Brady Hoke is, well, it hadn't been a fun first year. And this has got to be a good feeling for him to see that defense rise up against the team he knows is just going to hammer him.
No doubt. And he's been through so much. You look at his career, obviously, the scrutiny in Michigan that he went through. And he said, you know what? I still have so much fun getting to work. He said every day he tells his wife his favorite part of the day is getting to coach these young men because they are so young. And his D-line has been depleted by injuries, suspensions, etc. throughout this season. Responded on 4th and short.
All right, first down, little throw in the flat to Freeman. That'll be a 6-yard gain as Royce is pushed out of bounds. Freeman 4 carries for 10 yards. That's his second reception. Herbert throws it back across the body. Nice catch. Wow, that's a tough catch and a good one by Jake Breland, freshman out of Mission Viejo.
A really nice job by the quarterback. Run pass option. He takes the linebacker Cody Barton all the way to Cody's left. He throws back where he should have been. Easy completion.
Breland is now in the backfield. Going to try to lead block there, but he didn't get a man. And Filippo Mokafisi bangs down Freeman for a loss.
This D-line is so legit. I mean, look just across the board. Tomoe Peno, Mokafisi, Lotulele, Hunter Dimmick, Sony Tassini. I mean, really, they're so physical at the point of attack, and they just keep rotating them in. Fresh legs, fresh bodies against a really young offensive front.
7th TFL of the year for Mokafisi. They're all, the D linemen have that. Ooh, and Freeman stays upright. And by staying on his feet, he's able to run it inside the 40 for a first.
And there's two things in the first quarter where Oregon's had a lot of success. They call it kind of the naked bootleg. You fake a run, and all of a sudden, you try to sneak somebody out the back. They did the first play of the game to a tight end. They do it to Royce Freeman here. They've done a nice job attacking the perimeter with the fake and the run, coming out the back door, getting somebody in the flats.
Looked like Dimmick got a little piece of that ball, but not enough to stop it. It still made its way to Freeman. Brooks James trying to go left, and he's batted down. That's, again, Utah, Mokafisi, and Lua Farasanga.
and they just do their job, Ted. You know, this defensive front, they stay in their lanes. Against a lot of teams, that run right there is a gash. But everybody just remains in their gap, in their lane, and they fill from inside out. No explosive play for the Ducks.
All right, they will not get another playoff before the quarter ends, but Oregon, after that fourth down stop on defense, has pushed the ball into Utah territory.
3 straight drives. The Oregon Ducks have moved it. Can they cash in once they break midfield? Can they score in the red zone? We'll find out in the second quarter. 7-3 Utah.
Pac-12 football is brought to you by 76. We're on the driver's side. By T-Mobile, switch to the network built for unlimited data. And by clean, crisp Coors Light. With great beer comes great responsibility. Just a slight dusting. The first snow of the season hit here in Wasatch on Wednesday and Thursday. But you see that look at me. Is there a more beautiful sky than you could ask for on this Saturday? Just shy of 60 degrees. Spectacular day for football. Justin Herbert's first quarter for the Ducks, 10 out of 12 for 118. And we're going to see as he maneuvers there. He's got a little wrap on his left hand.
Yeah. Prior to this drive, they were looking at him on the sideline. See that left hand right there? He's got the glove on it.
Right from the Utah 39. Again, remember, this happened after the Oregon defense held on fourth down. And Herbert takes a shot out to Munt, who's already caught 3. And Yogi, are you surprised? So far, the Oregon pass game has been more tight end running back, less wide receiver.
Yeah, I have not been, to be quite honest. His receiver core for Oregon has not been extremely consistent throughout this season, and you put more pressure on this Utah defense when you play both of these tight ends. All of a sudden, it's advantage Utah from an athlete standpoint.
Darren Carrington is in the game at the bottom. And that's, well, he's going to Breland, who makes a leaping try out of bounds. Jake Breland went up there against Chase Hansen, caught but did not get a foot down, is the ruling.
Taking a shot. Yeah. Right call. But again, you see that personnel grouping. Multiple tight ends, they rotate in. I think it keeps a couple of those athletes off the field for the Utah defense. And it's a really hard offense to scheme up against because they can still run the ball. They can still put those tight ends in the backfield.
Ian Wheeler will punt this, try to pin Utah deep. Booby Hobbs. Let this one sail. Wow. Right close. Wheeler bangs that in the back of the end zone. Well, Oregon's had 3 possessions. They've moved it 3 times, but they haven't finished a drive yet.
Welcome back to Rice-Eccles Stadium, where Utah leads Oregon 7-3, a score that does not sit well with my guest, Ty Burrell. You know him from Modern Family. Ty, what is your association with the city of Salt Lake?
Oh, with the city of Salt Lake, my wife is from Utah, and we moved here a long time ago. And then my brother moved here, and we bought some bars here, and now our whole family moved here. Nothing moves family like a bar.
I like that. Watering holes, very important and effective, but you are Oregon tried and true.
Yes.
What do you think of the game so far?
Great. I love seeing the defense play well enough that we can punt, you know? Really, I think we're really showing some growth. It's a really young team, and the defensive front has been challenged, and it's really nice. It's been a great game so far.
There's been a lot of speculation about your head coach, Mark Helfrich. How do you feel?
I really think that this is a young team, and if you grew up, like I did, when these teams were 3-win teams every year, 4-win teams, you valued the teams for playing hard. And Mark still has them playing hard. I think there are a lot of challenges with it. You've got to kind of start over sometimes, but they're playing hard. And as a Duck fan, as a lifelong Duck fan, that's what we care about. We didn't grow up with national championship aspirations, and our family really still sees that as the bedrock.
All right. Yeah. Thanks so much for the time. Ty Burrell, ABC's Modern Family. You don't want to miss a Phil Dunphy pratfall. It is worth every dime.
I'll do one today accidentally, I'm sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Try to catch it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
Should have asked him to do a magic trick, Cindy. But that's actually wonderful perspective. Something that is often all too short in supply in our world today. That's great perspective from as he said himself, a lifelong Ducks fan.
Yeah, and look, success breeds different expectations, and it's become kind of the standard with the new facilities, etc. But what he nailed was the youth and the injuries and the issues on the defensive front. I mean, they're playing true freshman Wayne T. Kirby, Gary Baker, redshirt freshman, Rex Manu, sophomore, Justin Hollins, Jalen Jelks, both sophomores. I mean, they're such a young team, and he's right in terms of they have not quit. You study him on film, you watch him in game, the effort's there.
All right, so now while we were talking to, I was going to call him Phil, talking to Ty, Jalen Jelks made a nice play, batted down a pass, then Troy Williams hits Tim Patrick on third down, but now Jelks comes back and makes this play.
And Jelks has been a fun player to watch. He was a huge surprise in training camp. They weren't really sure what was going to happen. He's missed 5 games this year already, but he's kind of found his niche in this rush end position. And remember, they completely changed schemes on the defensive front. They love his ability. This is a team that's had 2 first-round defensive linemen the last 2 years. If he keeps progressing, I think he's got a chance to be a guy in 2 years when he's a senior.
Oh, look at that pressure by Dye, and Troy Williams goes down. So Troy Williams tried to slip around the freshman Troy Dye, who has put up sterling defensive individual numbers.
He's phenomenal. His burst is just ridiculous. You'll see him kind of coming off the edge right here. Troy Dye, a dynamic athlete. We talked to him last night, just talking about being a true freshman playing. He said, you know what, I always had confidence in space, but as the season's gone on, I've gotten more comfortable having to take on a pulling guard, having to deal with the real physicality of playing this outside linebacker position at times on the line of scrimmage. And this is a huge reason why the upside of this program is something to be excited about. The youth of this defense led by him.
Yep, first sack for Dye, first sack for the Ducks today. Only 3 rush here, so they dump underneath. And Harrison Hanley will get some yardage, but not nearly enough for the line to gain.
Illegal shift, offense. The penalties decline. 4th down.
All right, so there's Ty Burrell saying the defense playing well enough to force a punt.
Well, they have, again, they haven't quit. You look at that last stanza on the defensive front. Brady Hoke, he altered his front almost every snap. He would bring a looper. He would have the defenseman, Jalen Elks, all of a sudden loop all the way around. He'd twist his defensive tackles, just trying to cause a little confusion up front for that offensive line of Utah, and it paid off.
So Mitch Wishnowski's followed up so beautifully on the excellent punting that Hackett had. Utah covers that. And it's an odd punt. You don't see line drives skipping along the ground, but it works. Dylan Mitchell couldn't get going as the Utes cover that. So we're into the second quarter. Touchdown run by Corey Butler-Bird early has Utah in front. The Pac-12 standings are presented by Wendy's. Yogi Roth, the seer of all things, not even Yogi could have been prescient enough to have called November 18th, Washington State at Colorado as division leaders.
Not
playing
a chance.
in Boulder today.
Not a chance. I mean, 2 candidates for Coach of the Year in the entire country.
And that play gets stopped on a bad start. And again, just to remind, if you are not totally up to speed, seeing those standings.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 81. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Utah and Colorado are the teams that control their fate in the South. USC has nothing to say about this.
No.
USC needs help. But if Utah wins this game today, then they'll play at Colorado next Saturday for the South title.
It's everything they've wanted. I think if they do run the table, they'll be the best 2-loss team in the country regarding their resume, body of work, as the committee would say.
USC, which made the championship game last year, could get there again, but again, they need help. As Freeman extends that run and drives it out, gets the 1st down.
You know, we've watched every snap of Royce Freeman. This is the best snap I've seen in his last few games because he just put his foot in the ground. He got north and south. Last week against Stanford, he went over 100, but he danced at times, and I don't think that's his skill set. His skill set is taking a great angle, putting his foot in the ground, finding a crease, and getting upfield and using that big body of his.
That's a 16-yard run, easily the best of the day so far for Freeman. Swinging the ball out to him for a short gain.
It's going to be really fun to continue to watch how Utah adjusts to this perimeter attack of the Oregon pass game. Oregon knows they can't drop back and take all day. They're not going to have the time. This young offensive line, they've proven it through a quarter and some change. They can't stop this defensive front, but they can attack the perimeter on those nakeds, those little passes out to the flats. It's where they've had success.
So 2nd and 8. There's a nice cutback. Brooks James shows spark. And boy, would the Ducks love that to get the run game contributing now as it has twice on this drive.
They call it a jump cut. He does exactly that. He jumps through the hole, puts his foot in the ground, jumps again, puts his foot in the ground. That's the athleticism of Tony Brooks James.
And you see the 3 receiver cluster at the top, but a bad start by the Ducks.
And that's going to kill him all game long, because right now in the running game, they got 2 guys, totally different change of paces. Watch the jump cut. Oh, boom, foot in the ground.
Yeah.
Here it comes again. One more, right foot, boom, jump cut.
False start. Offense number 68.
And I didn't see who it was, but that was a nice block on Lotulelei there that at least stood him up and allowed Brooks James to get by him.
And again, the running game of Oregon, it has never been, since they've really gotten it going, Chip Kelly, Mark Helfrich, I'm going to overpower you. It's just, I'm going to put a body in front of a body, kind of like basketball. I'm just going to put a screen on you.
Which is what that block on Lotulelei was, right?
Exactly right. So it's the initial step of the offensive line.
Herbert keeps middle. Nice job there by the quarterback. Gets the penalty yardage back plus some.
And what we're seeing right now is, you'd argue, the first time in a long time for the Ducks throughout the season where their offense is dictating terms. And when we say that, we mean that they're choosing what they want to run based on the confidence they have, the momentum they have, not based on the score and they have to come back from a deficit.
Herbert gets it out to Bayless. So again, it's a lot of play action, or the run pass option as you call it, Yogi, but it's flat throws, but it's working right now for Oregon.
Well, they consider it a run, and that's a beautiful job. Again, it's the tight end. They keep staying in this 2 tight end sets and then get them out the back door, and it's advantage when they're up against a linebacker for the athleticism of Evan Bayless, Johnny Munt. You've even seen a little Jake Breland.
That was Bayless' 2nd catch. Now it's Freeman there. He got hit from behind by Taumoa Penu. Short gain there.
Peter Taumoa-Peno, he's a really cool story. He's, the Drive is filming today. They've been here all week. He's going to be featured on that. Young man didn't even speak English when he came to Salt Lake City. Now, one of the more interesting characters on this entire team.
We'll throw there for a short gain to Carrington. First catch, first target for Darren Carrington. I asked Kyle Whittingham about him. He made a play at Arizona State. It was amazing. Manny Wilkins did a Russell Wilson thing for about 43 seconds, and Taumoa-Peno finally ran all the way across the field to run him out of bounds. And Kyle Whittingham gave that great defensive lineman compliment. He said, "Motor, just motors.
It's a
never
tradition.
stops." All right, short 3rd. Now that play winds up working. And Herbert's going to run it to the 25 for a first down, and then the late flag. So was that the way it was supposed to work? That looked funky at the beginning.
Well, it was a really nice job. You've seen UW do plays like that throughout the season, where you think it's a zone read game.
Right.
You think everything's going left, but it's actually not. It's a great design play. They get a kick out from not only Royce Freeman, but also from the tight end. Justin Herbert does the rest.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense. Correction.
No, Nelson. Yep, Charles Nelson.
Personal foul. Targeting offense. 15-yard card penalty. The play is under review.
Wow, so a targeting call on that block by Charles Nelson, which, again, if stands, disqualifies Nelson from the game. Boom.
I mean, it's kind of the written rule right there. Upward and forward thrust. That happens. He leaves his feet. The letter of the law. Led with his helmet. And the question, the argument from Oregon will be, did the shoulder get there first, or was it the helmet there first?
Well, as always, it's a severe foul. It carries a severe penalty.
Yep.
And it eliminates a big weapon from the game. So they'll review this back at Command Center in San Francisco, as well as here at the stadium.
And the way they define a defenseless player is also in the rule book. A player who receives a blindside block. That's exactly that.
That's the part of this play. This is, what we used to call crackbacks or whatever you want to term it, but it is defenseless, right?
Yeah, and you've seen a couple the last few weeks in the Pac-12. Here it is in real time.
Yeah. Boom.
And I get why old school coaches, fans don't like the rule. I love the rule. I think it's going to save the game. I think that, to me, is going to raise the awareness of the student athletes on the field, and I think it's good for the game.
After review, the targeting foul is confirmed. Number 6 is disqualified for the remainder of the game. Replay third down as the foul was a live ball.
And so it erases the first down gain by Herbert. That's the immediate penalty. And then, of course, Charles Nelson. Now, it is a first half foul, so he does miss the remainder of this game, but he will be okay to play in the Civil War.
Yeah, and the challenge is with this Oregon team, they're not good enough not only to overcome that, but they've had a couple false starts. And this is a team that's gotten inside the 40 every single drive throughout this game. And from a schematic standpoint, Charles Nelson, he's one of the few players on this team that's a touchdown maker. He put the ball in his hands, great explosive plays.
And you just talked about the wide receiver. That eliminates yet another receiver in a position where they've lost people this year. Stanford and Allen and etc. Trying to get some yardage back here. See if they can set up at very least a field goal try. Don't know theirs. Freeman is bottled up. He only gets it inside the 40. And now fourth down.
So this is that spot in the field, too, that's kind of weird. I'd go for it.
Yeah, you can't. You're a little far here. It'd be 55 to 56 to try a kick.
Yeah, I'd look for
As
Darren
it is,
Carrington.
they need 8 yards.
I'd look at number 7, Darren Carrington. I mean, he's got the ability. Obviously, he had some critical drops throughout the season, but this is a guy who's got all the skill sets that you want at the wide receiver position. He's going to be at the bottom of your screen.
Against Brian Allen of Utah.
Exactly, one of the senior corners.
All right, so we have a timeout taken here before this fourth down. As the Ducks try to keep a drive going in Salt Lake. Ted Robinson, Yogi Roth, Cindy Brunson back with you. Pac-12 Network in Salt Lake City, Oregon, ready to go on fourth down. And they have to get to the 30. You see the line to gain, parallel to the 30-yard line. Oregon has stopped Utah on a fourth down and a half yard in this game. And now they're not going for it. They've sent out Wheeler to punt, so out of the timeout. Change of plans here by Oregon. Wheeler with a better punt than he hit the last time. Last time he airmailed one in the end zone. This one's going to pin Utah. Wow, that's going to pin him at the 3. So good drive, or good pin job there by Wheeler, the punter. Let's join Greg Wolf now in San Francisco for game break.
All right, time for this Valvoline game break. We go to the horseshoe. Number 2, Ohio State twice trailed in this game to Sparty. Mike Weber, 4-yard touchdown run, his 8th rushing touchdown of the year. Ohio State leads at 17-10, but it's first and goal, Michigan State, fourth quarter. Ted, Yogi, back to you.
And there's another team. Thank you, Greg. There's another team like Oregon, Michigan State. I mean, who would have thought they'd have this kind of season?
Well, you look at Michigan State, you look at Notre Dame. You could even kind of look at Texas to a degree. I mean, Charlie Strong clearly a ton of success when he was at Louisville. And I understand the criticism when you are a head coach and you're making all the money and you don't get all the mulligans in the world, but you got a really young team at a lot of these places, and you don't see it very often. I don't think it makes them all of a sudden lack the ability to be an impressive head coach. Clearly, Mark D'Antonio has proven that.
Joe Williams banging the ball out to the 9-yard line. Good first down gain. You saw the CFP ranks where Ohio State and Michigan, who play next Saturday, are both in the 4. Washington is 6, Colorado 10, Utah 12. So it's still hopes for several Pac-12 schools to see if they can finish in that top 4.
Well, I think a Pac-12 school will make it. I really do. I think when you look at the resume and the potential quality wins coming down the stretch for everybody kind of plays each other in terms of everyone who's ranked for the most part. It's going to give them a solid argument when you look at the ACC and who Clemson has played. We saw what Louisville did. I think even this is a great example. Ohio State, I get Michigan State's competitive, but if you're going to look at the resume strength of schedule, that's not going to be a quality win. As I think you have to look at those things via the committee, and they've been pretty inconsistent all season long. And can't wait to get to San Fran Tuesday and talk about it, man.
Well, of course, we do a lot of talking about it. It's conversation during the year. The only poll that matters is the last one, right? They can do anything they want until the last one. All right, second down. Oregon stretches that out nicely. Joe Williams did get a couple, but he's not to the 13 yet. So the Ducks' run defense, not bad in this first half.
Well, watch their defensive line. You know, they're not getting blown off the line of scrimmage. They're running into their gap. That's what this defense is supposed to do. And they're fitting really well. Their linebackers, Jimmy Swain, number 18, right in the middle of your screen, just fits his gap. And you see that a lot on this team from Jalen Jelks.
Yeah. Jelks has had a nice first half.
Rex Manu. I mean, they've done a nice job of just doing their job. And that's the ultimate, like, coach speak. But it's true, specifically when you're playing one-gap defense, which is what Oregon's doing.
So 3rd and 2. And Utah fakes the fly sweep and throws it in the flat to Williams. So good little motion play there by Utah. Effective throw to Joe Williams out beyond the 30.
Well, they take a page out of Oregon's playbook. I mean, Oregon's doing this all afternoon. Again, it's the fake the run. Let's get a running back right at the back door. I've seen Royce Freeman before against Johnny Reagan, who is a little slowed. You can see that knee brace on his left knee. Doesn't have the burst that we're accustomed to seeing early on in the season. And Joe Williams, he's got elite speed at the running back position.
That's a 20-yard gain, so it gets Utah out of that deep hole. And Troy Williams setting up there. Plenty of time. Hits the sideline throw. Caught by Patrick for a first down.
Really nice job of Troy Williams, just recognizing what's happening with this defense. You're going to see a pressure right here, a late play by Brennan Schooler. Troy Williams, he sees it, they pick it up. Nice job, Garrett Bowles. Pitch and catch, Timmy Patrick. That is a clinic-worthy blitz pickup conversion.
A 12-yard throw there, so Utah's come out from their 3 to their 43. Joe Williams punching it out for a short gain. Just look at the upper left of your picture there. When was the last time Oregon was involved in this kind of game? 7-3 with 5 minutes to go in the first half?
Not what we expected. The explosive plays they usually have, and even on the defensive side, they've done. It's their most impressive game thus far on defense. You haven't seen major busts. You haven't seen missed tackles outside of the incredible touchdown run by Corey Butler-Bird early on in this ball game.
Right now, Oregon has run 10 more plays than Utah to this point, which is very different as Williams has a lot of room. And then Wisely takes the safe slide, but inside the Oregon 45.
Check out Henry Mondu, number 92. Nice spin, he's in the backfield, and there's the athleticism we talked about earlier, Troy Williams. Being able to tuck, run, get down, move the chains. He's got the initial quicks, the ability to recognize, feel, and sense at the quarterback position. Okay, here's a little something. I can feel it. Let me get out. That's an impressive job. He's not looking to run first, Ed. He's looking to throw, but if he has to, he'll find a crease.
Tim Patrick up top against Amati. That's single. Let's see what they do here. Williams going to come back up the near side to Hanley. And all the way down near the Oregon 15 goes Harrison Hanley.
They love having this guy back. Came back against ASU a week ago. He's going to kind of sneak out of the back right there. You see him at the left of your screen. He fakes the delay block, and all of a sudden he comes up the sideline. A really nice job. And again, it's against true freshman Troy Dye. And every time we talk about young players, they see things for the first time. One of the first times he's seen the delay block, and all of a sudden he sneaks up the sideline.
A big play, 29 yards. You see Utah's red zone touchdown number, not what they'd like. And Troy Williams design run here. Nice cutback, brought the ball out. Ooh, could that be a big defensive play by Oregon? It is. The Ducks have it. And here comes some penalty. At least one flag is down. I believe that came down after this play had ended. But Oregon and Utah has been so strong on takeaways this year. Here they get bit.
It's a simple Wildcat run. Jimmy Swain, look at that right hand. He swats at it. Nice job. And Wayne Tate Kirby, the true freshman.
The play, personal foul, pulling off the pile. Offense, number 72. 15-yard penalty, first down Oregon.
So it's an Oregon recovery. It is then the foul, as you heard explained by Chris Coyne, against Utah's Bulls, and now we have an Oregon player shaken up at the end of it, but all of it is a big defensive takeaway for the Ducks. State Capitol Building right here in downtown Salt Lake City. Pac-12 football presented by Valvoline, where the Utes are well, it's a little different. And that turnover going to really frustrate Kyle Whittingham, because you see how well Utah has persevered this year. I mean, their turnovers and their points off turnovers have been astounding, but there they get bit, and Oregon's right in this game.
It's a great point. I mean, it's that simple stat that just matters. You wonder why Oregon struggled in the past or throughout this season. It's because they haven't created turnovers. You look at them in the past, 2014, they're plus 23. Last year, they're plus 6. This year, coming to the game, they're minus 3, obviously winning the turnover battle today thus far.
All right, so Oregon, after the fumble recovery and then the tack-on penalty, starts at the 26. And a nice counter run by Freeman. Royce Freeman, he stepped out of bounds well before the end of the play. Stepped out of bounds just across midfield. But Oregon swing and mow their way.
Watch the speed of Royce Freeman through the hole. Whew, this is what we're used to. This is what you expected all season long. This is the type of dynamic power athlete that is projected as a first-round draft pick at running back coming into the season.
Now bounce by Brooks James, and he's wrapped up. We should also finish, as Cody Barton made the tackle, that Rex Manu was the Oregon player that was injured on that fumble, and it looked like a significant leg injury. He was taken up and immediately into the Oregon locker room.
And that's an issue for this team. They've struggled clearly on the defensive line. Injury, suspension, retirement. Kenton Kamatule medically retired a couple weeks ago.
Herbert. Dimmick was watching, but then Herbert delivers and lets him know. Carrington juggled it and is ruled to not possess it. Incomplete. That's frustrating, because that's looked like a catch. Should have been a catch.
You look at this Oregon offense today, and there's this play, right, which is the right call. He bobbles it. Doesn't have control. There's the penalty on Charles Nelson. You know, they've had their opportune times, and they've hurt themselves with unforced errors.
So now third down, 3-receiver bunch. That's where Herbert's looking. Now he comes back the other side. And out of the backfield, so once again, Oregon is going to be in that awkward position where they're going to go for it, I would think, on fourth down and about 4. And this has been basically an invisible fence right about the Utah 35-yard line in this first half. Can the Ducks crack it?
Look at the bunch, the top of your screen right here. Keep an eye.
Carrington's the outside man. And Herbert's going to go to the sideline. This one is the first down play. Still going is Johnny Monk. Still down the sideline. He is out of bounds. Marked out of bounds at the 19. So the Ducks convert on fourth down, and they do get it into the red zone.
You know, anybody that thinks that the Oregon Ducks have quit on Mark Helford, just watch this play. And this is a senior, Johnny Munn. He's been through a lot. This young man in the bunch, makes a play, gets some yak after the play, doing everything he can to will this team.
Freeman. And Freeman is going to run it down for a gain of a few, close to the 15. Freeman had a 28-yarder, by the way, on the earlier run in this drive.
Well, I love the design right here. Not only getting the rock to Royce Freeman, obviously, but here in the bunch. They find Munn out in the flat. They have been lighting up this Oregon defense on these plays to the flat. They've been attacking it. His athleticism, his effort, exactly what you're hoping for in a game like this.
Herbert running. And Herbert down to the 11. Barton on the tackle. Well, let's just remember one thing here. Some more perspective. Let's not just have an actor give us perspective. This is the same Oregon team that let Utah score 62 at Autzen last year.
It's a great point. And you know, as a competitor, you get challenged, you know it's time to bow up. All you want to do is go into somebody else's house on senior day with everything on the line and see if you can quiet it.
Oregon shifting here for the third down. Brooks James the back. Brooks James the carry. Utah's all over it. And Brooks James does well to get back near the original line of scrimmage. That play could have been a big TFL. And now Mark Helfrich on 4th down is going to go for points.
I mean, this defensive front, incredible penetration. And I think there's going to come a point in this game when it is a 3rd down situation. You know the box is stacked. You got to take a shot. It's single coverage in the outside. I love the corners of Utah. They're impressive. They put their hands on you. But if you're Darren Carrington and if you're Oregon, you got to have some confidence to take a shot out there. To me, an audible type situation, put him in one-on-one coverage.
All right, Schneider made it from 47. This one will be about 32. And wow, frustration. Man, for Oregon, what frustration to have everything go your way on that drive and then come away with 0.
It's kind of been the theme for them all half long. Every drive, they've moved the ball inside the 40 or better every single time, and they've hurt themselves with unforced errors, right? Whether it was a drop, whether it was a foolish penalty on Charles Nelson targeting, he's done for the game, and then a miss on a field goal. And look, those things happen, Ted, but when you're a team like this, just fighting for your lives, trying to get a win on the road against a potential Pac-12 champ, got to make those plays.
So now let's see how Utah plays this with 1 minute and 3 timeouts.
I'd attack. I would attack the passing game. Keep an eye on Tim Patrick, top of your screen.
Joe Williams alongside Troy. Williams, Joe stays in the block. Hanley catches, but doesn't get that 1st down. He got stopped short, so the clock will move. And Utah forced to take, well, not yet. Thought they were going to take a timeout. We're hoping Hanley was going to get to that line there. And it is Butler-Bird. So this will get him a quick stoppage.
An interesting clock management, not using a timeout there on that 1st down, cost him 15 seconds.
Of course, they've got Andy Phillips here, so they know exactly where they need to get it to give him a shot. And they can use the field. Joe Williams doesn't have to go out of bounds. They've got the timeouts, and Joe Williams will get it out of the 46. So
you know, Troy Williams doing a nice job of check down. A lot of times in 2-minute drill, you train your quarterback, touchdown, check down, touchdown, check down. If there's a shot to take it, and he's looking at Timmy Patrick every time, but Oregon's playing 2 deep safeties. Brandon Schooler, he's over the top of Tim Patrick, trying to make sure they don't give up an explosive play down the field. And Troy Williams doing a nice job saying, okay, we'll take 10, we'll take 10. We'll find out if that can convert to points.
All right, our Navy Conference leaders, Falk, McCaffrey, Hansen across the board. Christian McCaffrey with Stanford out of the Pac-12 championship race, but still Stanford with a shot at a 9-3 season, and McCaffrey's having a very good second half.
Well, even when you break him down on tape, I mean, he's having an incredible season. He's so much fun to watch. He's always getting positive yards, never really takes a hard hit. His competitive temperament has willed this team to, after today and next week, they got a chance for 9 wins.
Troy Williams gets out and finds Butler-Bird, but that's going to be a short gain and force Utah to take a timeout. Now Andy Phillips, as we'll wait for a flag as well. That one may be on Utah.
Holding, offense number 75, 10 penalty, replay 2nd down.
All right, first holding call of the first half, and that may dim Utah's hopes here. They were saying Andy Phillips' longest kick this year is 47. Hasn't even tried one outside 50, so we're thinking they still had some yardage. Now they're going to get pushed back to their 36.
And Utah, it's never felt in the first half that they haven't had control of this game. But we were calling the game, you know, early in the season against Cal when they're on the road. It felt the same thing.
Yes.
They control, and all of a sudden they don't make a play late, and Cal ends up winning that ball game.
Remember, that game was Kyle Whittingham. When I spoke to him the other day, he said, don't bring it up. Because that's the play, or the game rather. Utah ran 97 snaps and didn't win the game.
And so much is made of the late game, timeout, etc. But they should have won the ball. Multiple opportunities to get in the end zone.
Ute still spread the field here. See the situation? 16 seconds and a timeout, but they have to get a lot of yardage here to give Phillips a shot. And Williams will run. Time is preciously ticking out. All of those extended plays cost you seconds. And now Utah will have to See if they can run a play to the end zone. Well, here is the 97th play. Well, actually, these are the last few.
They had every chance in the world to get in the end zone.
That's the one that I thought Zach Moss got turned. I thought that's the one where he was going to get in.
Yep, you think it's a walk. Here's a 2nd and goal. Another opportunity. Troy Williams, they get him on the naked. They got a tight end on the outside, Moei, and they just miss it. And then, of course, the potential cutback. Had a chance, cut back, put his foot on the ground. Moss doesn't see it. True freshman. And then, of course, game over. James Looney, Callum. It was a huge moment for Cal. You think about how the seasons have gone, twisting and turning. But for Utah, they're that play. You call it one snap if you want. And UW, a potential no call away from maybe taking that game to overtime, or who knows what happens if they don't get that punt return for a touchdown. And that's why I think of the 2 lost teams, if they do win out, they're going to have a really good case for them because of quality wins. But they got to create some points here, and they're going to get the ball starting the second half.
Yeah, well, next week for Utah is a long ways away. They need to finish this week. And here, with 7 seconds and no timeouts, it's either an end zone Hail Mary throw or a hook and ladder, something that's in. What was in your grab bag for this?
Oh, yeah, you're throwing it up. It's hook and ladder all day long.
Okay. Just a little outside screen there. Butler Bird trying to operate in the open field. What he doesn't want to do is drop the ball, go down. It's your hit, go down. Don't let him stand you up and pull it out.
No. Tell you what, it's been an interesting one here in the first half. Nobody expected it to be 7-3. You think it's a defensive struggle. Oregon, they've come to play. Their defensive front, they've made some steps. They've slowed this offense down.
All right, State Farm halftime report where their team is coming up. Let's hear from Kyle Whittingham. Cindy?
Coach, what was your message to Troy Williams after that fumble in the red zone?
Well, you know, it happens. You know, the ball security looked decent on the replay board, but you got to take care of the football. You know, so that's, you know, especially in the red zone, you know, that's a scoring opportunity we miss out on.
Oregon appears to be having success on the edges. How do you shore that up?
Yeah, we're missing some tackles, and we're not structurally getting where we need to be at times, but we're playing good defense. 3 points, I mean, to this Oregon team in a half of football is not bad.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
You get an idea he was gritting his teeth a little bit about that red zone fumble? Yeah. No coach likes that.
Late in the season, when the games matter, you got to execute. Be fun to see which one of these offenses can get it done here. 7-3 at the half. Gonna be a fun one here.
Take it
Salt
away.
Lake.
State Farm halftime report.
Welcome to the State Farm halftime report. I think everybody forgot to bring their offense in Salt Lake City, Oregon. Trailing in this one, Utah hanging onto a slim 7-3 lead as the Utes try to stay alive for a Pac-12 championship. Coming up on the State Farm halftime report, highlights analysis from that first half of the game. We'll also talk the big game, and a big game Christian McCaffrey could have ahead in Berkeley, and also the number 2 team in the country. Tough one for the Buckeyes against Sparty. All that coming up on the State Farm halftime report with Curtis Conway, Nick Galliotti, and Eric Allen right after this.
This Pac-12 football halftime report is presented by State Farm. Here to help life go right.
I'm a superhero, I'm the MVP. I'm a superhero, I'm the MVP. I'm the MVP, I'm the MVP. Hit it.
That's right. That's not a misprint. 7-3 at halftime. Utah leading Oregon. Yogi, in some ways it was hard to digest because Oregon ran 10 more plays than Utah, yet Utah was that one fumble away from having a comfortable lead at the half.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it's really an interesting game. It's kind of odd when you look at those elements in terms of even Oregon's winning time of possession. When does that ever happen? But there's the turning point, I believe, in this game. A great play call by Utah. They find Harrison Haley down the side, little delayed route by him down the sideline, beats Troy Dye. They come back, and the quarterback keeper on the next snap, and Jimmy Swain, great job with that right hand right on the ball. Big turnover in the red zone. All of a sudden, it gives Oregon some more life. And to me, when you look at this team right now, that's what they have. They have life. They fought. They've competed. But you look at third downs. They've got to stop catapulting themselves. 2 of 8 when it really matters. Too many foolish penalties in the first half. Not a ton of them, but 2 false starts. The targeting kills a drive. Yeah. Those things like that for an Oregon team that's down. If they want to win and upset one of the top teams in the country, they cannot do those things in the second half.
When was the last time we said Oregon didn't finish drives?
Right.
That's the one. That was the one thing that you see how even everything else looks. Let's check in now with Cindy.
With Oregon head coach Mark Helfrich. Mark, what was your message to Aiden Schneider after he missed that field goal at the end of the half?
Well, make the next one. I mean, there's nothing you can really say at that point. Just that's a psychological deal at that point, and just stroke the next one.
Joe Williams only has 49 yards rushing. What is different about your defense today?
Well, they're playing hard, you know, and we're finishing a lot more tackles, and we're finishing plays a lot closer to the line of scrimmage, which is good. Still gave up, 250 yards, but didn't break here in the red zone and get the turnover. But now we have to complement that offensively.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Again, that's what's so startling about this. When was the last time you heard an Oregon coach say that? And this year, Mark's problem hasn't been offense, right?
It's been the defense, You're right. And I cannot wait to watch this defensive front of Oregon here in the second. It did a nice job. They got a 4th down stop. They've come correct in terms of being responsible in their lanes, in their gaps against this offensive line of Utah, which we've said countless times, best in the conference.
All right, Troy Williams throws to Patrick right away. Also note that Oregon starts the second half. That defensive line that's been banged with injuries all year, Rex Manu's not out there. We saw him have what looked to be a significant injury in the first half.
And that's a big loss for this team. Remember, Drayton Carlberg, he gets hurt earlier this season. Kenton Kamatule, he retired a couple weeks ago. Trani Prevost, we know he's been suspended. Austin Alamada, he was dismissed from the team earlier this week. So not a lot of depth in the defensive front.
And Utah trying to get Joe Williams going. A little stumble on the cutback, which allowed Schooler the chance to run him down and drag him out, but Joe Williams has pushed it near midfield. And our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts shows you what Joe Williams has done, not since Kadeem Carey 4 years ago, with that kind of burst, and he's closing in within a few yards now of his 1,000.
What he's done is historic, I mean, to be quite honest, and really think the reason he's done so well is he's attacked this game with a newfound love and passion for the position.
All right, Joe Williams has now gone over 1,000. He is the 13th man in Utah football history to get 1,000 yards in a season. Best phone call of the year in the Pac-12. Dennis Erickson. I tried to ask Dennis today what he said. He didn't bite on that one.
Well, what's so impressive is his durability. When we called the first game back at Oregon State, he was on the field 51 snaps in that game out of 74. Coming off of hanging out and watching the games on his couch, and today's been in every snap but 3 all afternoon long. It just shows how he took care of his body, how he remained conditioned.
Good hold there. Tim Patrick held that as he was wrapped by Amadi. And that'll be a first at the Oregon 40.
What you've seen in this first drive of the second half is Utah going to the passing game more. Going to the edges, attacking these corners. Corners of Oregon have struggled throughout this season. And I do think it's an advantage for the wideouts of Utah. They're big-bodied. Tim Patrick finally healthy. You see on that slant route, looked as good as he has in the last month.
Williams in the backfield. Joe gets the ball, but this time he ran into T.J. Daniel. Daniel playing up on that front now, again with Manu down.
Good job holding the point of attack by that defensive front. T.J. Daniel, former tight end. So many guys down again. I mean, Austin Malawada, he was that guy on the interior defensive line that had always held that point. T.J. Daniel replacing him. Henry Mondu moving all over.
And Troy Williams trying to keep it. Justin Hollins wrapped him up. So 2 good plays by the Oregon front.
What you're seeing is that they're not chasing ghosts. They're not seeing things that aren't there. They truly just stayed in their gaps. Look at it. Shoulder square. Nobody touched them. All right, I don't need to go run with the running back. There's somebody there that has Joe Williams. Let me just stay on my responsibility in the quarterback.
Well, now the Utes are pushed into a 3rd and 10. Three spread to the top. Corey Williams looking there, not going to pull it down. And tried to force one in against Arian Springs. Tough coverage to Patrick. And Utah now facing 4th down.
You know, Arian Springs' season has been up and down. You see here, a little contact. Surprised it doesn't get called there. You see the right hand. That's usually what gets called. That's on the Utah sideline. I think you're going to see the sideline react just a bit different.
Yep.
Gets away with one there.
So Arian Springs makes that play, and now Utah facing 4th down. They're apparently going to take a penalty here and let the clock run down and give their punter, Mitch Wisnowski, 5 extra yards.
Late game offense. The penalties decline.
Yep.
4th down.
Smart play there. Always remember that the other team can do that. So Mark Elford said, no, you can go ahead and try it from there. Dylan Mitchell deep. And Wisnowski just hits a nice soft end-over-end pump. Boy, that's beautiful. Well done. But that's when you see that punting is an art. The way he hit that ball.
It has been an art around here for a long time. Field position, name of the game right now.
Final home game for the Utes on a gorgeous Saturday in Salt Lake City. Utah hoping to win and then play in Boulder next Saturday for the Pac-12 South Championship. Colorado and Washington State are just underway. Our field crew, including Cindy mentioned at the beginning, they're enjoying being on the sideline today. It is just a fabulous football day. Mark Helfrich, his defense has come to play today. Now can the offense dig out of this bad drive start? That's a good 1st down game, gives them a little bit of room. As Freeman pushes it straight ahead.
You know, if you're Utah's defense, you're Hunter Dimick, you've got to take away the only strength of Oregon right now. Charles Nelson out, obviously, after the targeting penalty. You've got to stop this run game. Trust your corners on islands.
Herbert looking, ball, it was tipped, and Justin Thomas had a touchdown in his hands.
This is an incredible job of the entire defense. You're going to see a back come out of the backfield. This linebacker right here, Lata Fasanga, reads it. All of a sudden, he's all over it, right? We've seen it all game long. These perimeter passes, slows it down, forces Herbert to go across the middle, almost big-time trouble.
On 3rd, Herbert to the middle, low throw, incomplete, and Oregon will punt from the end zone.
Great job by the backers. See coverage right there. Herbert comes back. Hunter Dimick gets a piece of it. Oh! Almost a house call for the senior.
It's a walk-in if he catches it. Unfortunately, you saw after Dimick touches it, how the ball was wobbling.
Well, what's impressive, and Coach Whittingham talked to Cindy Brunson before the half about the structural issues and where they've gotten beat, where those little flare passes when a tight end came into the flat. Seems like they're all over it early on here in the 3rd.
So Wheeler will punt from his end zone. Hobbs standing on the Oregon side of the 50. That's not a very good punt. And that's going to give Oregon the best possible field position to start. They're going to be inside the Utah 45. Our field moment presented by 76. To this point, still the only touchdown.
Corey Butler Bird, are you kidding me? Whoop, later. Welcome to the Quicks. One cut man right there, and it's the effort in the end zone, Ted. And we say it every week, is the game of inches, and that was impressive. Corey Butler Bird getting him going, the senior on senior day.
And so here is Utah at the Oregon 44. We'll get that right. A great drive start for the Utes after a 38-yard punt by the Ducks' Ian Wheeler. And using the motion as distraction, Joe Williams strung out nicely, though. Amati, good run support tackle there for Oregon. with help from Dye.
And when you chance to talk to Brady Hoke and you go back through his resume, he's had a lot of great influences, one being Bo Schembechler. And these are the 5 keys that are on his board in his office. Got to attack the line of scrimmage. We've seen that all game long. Got to deliver a blow. They've been doing that on the defensive front. Finding the ball. That last play is a great example. Troy Dye finds the ball, defeats the block, and then this defense has been getting after it and pursuing it. And this has been their most complete game all season long from a defensive effort standpoint.
And Williams outside, so Utah looks, Yogi, like Kyle Whittingham's trying to start to feed Joe Williams the ball here in the second half.
Well, there's a point where you say, all right, I know we want to continue the evolution of our passing game like it happened a week ago against ASU, but what works? And this is a 7-3 ball game. And again, I'll go back to the Cal game that we called early in this season. They were dominating that game, dominating the line of scrimmage for the most part. They had so many plays, you already referenced it. And they didn't win because they kind of got away from the stuff that was just working down in and down out. I think you'll see him continue to run the rock.
All right, Williams is out, and that's Troy McCormick getting in. McCormick got back into the lineup at Arizona State for the Utes. First carry today, but a big TFL by Oregon. -4 on the first play. This does not look like that Oregon defense, does it?
No, and to me, it's the big one right here. You know, what they're doing today against a team that dominates the majority of defensive lines they play against. This is an offensive line that has a lot of experience. And Tevi, look across the line, Isaac Asiata, even Nick Nowakowski. Granted, they've been banged up at the center position, but he's played well since he's been in there.
So now Utah has to come out of 2nd and 14. Late blitz coming middle. Williams gets away. Williams will run. Williams will run it. All the way to the 12. Once he got out of the pocket, he saw a huge opening.
We talked to Troy Williams yesterday. I said, what's the biggest difference in your game? I said, man, it's just my confidence. Every week I just feel like I see the game clear, and every night I lay in my bed prior to the game and I just visualize myself making big plays, helping this team win. Critical play, recognizing man coverage. Nobody's near him because they're all running with the wide receivers. You see Ugo Amadi at the right of your screen.
That's when they can get him out of the football offices.
That's right. That's right.
22-yard run for Troy Williams. Red zone, Utah. Timeout, Utah. And they have to try to counter that low touchdown percentage in the red zone. Utes trying to extend this lead. All right, Pac-12 football presented by Valvoline. Coming to the midway part of the third quarter, still, well, surprisingly low-scoring game. But this number, the first number you see there, to me, defines the defense. Yogi, that's by far the most defensive red zone appearances for a team in the conference this year. That's almost 6 a game.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous number to compare it. Utah's only allowed opponents in their red zone 25 times, so more than half.
So now Utah trying to convert. Second red zone trip. Joe Williams will do it. Joe Williams takes it in for the Utah score. No drama this time. Coming out of the timeout, 1-run play and a 12-yard score.
Garrett Bowles, Isaac Asiata, the left side of this line. Hands inside. They get a little pull, a little kick out, and it is a walk for Mr. Williams.
Up to 92 yards now. His first rush touchdown of this day. 9th on the year. And Andy Phillips adds the point. So, if done by design, that's a good timeout for Utah because they found the right play to eliminate any red zone drama.
They've made the adjustments. They're attacking on the ground. Left side of the O-line. 14-3. Can the Ducks respond?
Field position. And now think about it as we see the Cooper Tire scoring drive. What started that? A fabulous punt by Wisnowski that pinned Oregon deep.
An absolute weapon for a long time here. You know, you look at the history, obviously Tom Hacken and what he's done, Andy Phillips, and now today with Wisnowski. Incredible job of pinning him. Great job on defense. Get the ball, run the rock. Away they go. Touchdown Joe Williams.
All right, Utah, Hayes Hicken Handles the kickoff chores. Bangs that one over the head of Brooks James. And let's check in now for an update with Greg Wolf.
Thanks. Time for this Gatorade game break. Utah fans keeping a close eye on the action at Folsom Field. Luke Falk with time finds Robert Lewis. 14-yard touchdown. Afolabi Laguda called for targeting. He's been disqualified. Colorado just turned the ball over. Wazoo has it in CU territory. It's 7 apiece first quarter. Ted, Yogi, back to you.
All right, Greg. Well, there you see. And it is startling. We all know what a turn this has been for Colorado this year. But when you look at the Pac-12 standings, and Colorado was at the top or near the top of almost every defensive step.
It's an incredible job of a rebuild. You know, very similar to Utah, to sticking with a philosophy, not wavering when it got hard.
As Freeman carries, and Mike McIntyre obviously will be in the heavy running for Coach of the Year. But if you're going to give Coordinator of the Year honors out, you'd have to talk about Jim Levin, who has run the Colorado defense.
1,000%. And I think in that game, you've got candidates for both Coach of the Year and D Coordinator of the Year. Yeah. What Alex Grinch and that defensive Wazoo has done, and Mike Leach, after an 0-2 start and a poor game against Idaho, to go to a bye game and turn things around.
Let's throw to Freeman outside, gets it out to the 32. That's a good call on Alex Grinch, who actually has roots that go back to New Hampshire days with Chip Kelly.
And I think it's ridiculously obvious is that since the Pac-12 networks got going, the coaches that this conference can attract, keeping assistants, you don't see them leaving, you see them staying and continue to develop their careers.
Third down, out of the pistol. And Herbert lofting one out there, trying to make a play with Evan Bayless running down there against Justin Thomas. And Oregon will have to punt.
Love the concept. Man-to-man cover, trying to get a corner route, but Charles Nelson, not here. Farrell Brown, not here. I mean, some players down the field that have made plays for this team throughout the season.
And that's important for Utah to score a touchdown and come back and get a 3-and-out against the Oregon offense.
It's what you expected coming into this ballgame.
It gives Utah a chance now on this possession, assuming they secure this punt, to try to really tilt the game their way. Wheeler gets it off. Hobbs, fair catching inside the 20. Good punt there by Wheeler. Right, here's Joe Williams' capsule for today.
But, you know, his patience is so impressive. You know, his burst through the hole, his ability to utilize the momentum of defenders when he feels a little bit of contact to catapult him forward has allowed this offense to really take hold of this ball game right now. And really, you look at his entire season, he's been a newfound player with his patience at the line of scrimmage. And honestly, the most impressive element of this young man is when he stood in front of his team after the first few weeks of the season and told them, I'm exhausted physically, mentally, I'm going to take a break from this game. And they easily, in this macho sport of football, could have said, you know what, you don't have what it takes, man. You're soft, you can't play this game. But they loved him even more. Now he's come back, a greater appreciation for the game, and clearly his craft is going off.
Wow. Joe Williams. It makes it easier to come back when you do that. Out near midfield, over 100 again. And you just used the word, Yogi. He said this before the game, that what you notice about Joe Williams is how much better he's actually pursuing the job of being a running back.
Yeah, I think if you take a break at any craft that you have done for a long time, and when you played the game since you were in Pop Warner like he did growing up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and you go through the rigors of being a major Division I athlete, it's hard on you physically at the running back position. Mentally, when you're playing on a big stage and you can lose your love, your luster for it. We talked to him earlier this week and he said, you know what, I approach the game with a newfound love. I'm absolutely totally enthralled with the job I'm doing right now, being around my teammates, and now here we are on senior day. Joe Williams probably, find a better story in the entire country.
No, it's hard, very hard. He's 28-yard run on the previous down. There he got bottled up. But he's at 120 and well over 1,000 yards despite being gone for some time.
But it doesn't hurt to have his offensive line.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's a great point, because you referenced that. We were talking last week about, like for example, left side of the line. Is there a better left side of the line in the conference?
Not a chance.
The throw was behind Patrick and well defended by Springs.
Yeah, this is a critical drive for this Oregon team because you don't get a lot of possessions when you play Utah. They utilize, obviously, a huddle. They take a lot of time off the clock. Before you know it, you have 4 possessions in the first half. You don't get the rock a lot playing this style of offense from Utah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Utah has 20 first downs, yet Oregon has still run more plays. Although that gap's narrowed since halftime. 3rd down. 4 rush. Williams going to string this out, and he's not going to get there. He ran out good distance short, about 6 yards short of the first. Given how Wisnowski punts, I would assume Kyle Whittingham will play field position here.
It's a great weapon for them. When you look at the road to a Pac-12 championship, you've got to make it hard on teams. And you look at Colorado, you look at a lot of these teams, an area where they don't thrive as much as Utah is in the special teams. It is a total weapon. Colorado, they lose their kicker early in the season. They've gotten better. They've steadily improved in that area. But you look at Utah, among the 2 lost teams, their special teams is an absolute weapon.
Wisnowski hits that to the near side. That's going to go out of bounds. See where they spot that. Somewhere around the 10. And they spot it right at the 10-yard line. All right, Sydney Brunson, where are you enjoying this?
I am enjoying the view from where Joe Williams used to sit while he was in his retirement, right here in row 11 in the friends and family section. It's from this vantage point that he decided to get his mind right and get back on the field. He already has more than 100 yards rushing this afternoon, including more than 50 in this 3rd quarter. Guys?
Yeah, it's not a bad seat, but I think the view through the helmet's probably a lot more fun for him when he's playing as well as he is.
I think it's a great call. But it's a great example from Cindy of he sat with the friends and family.
Yes.
Right? He wasn't up in the nosebleeds.
And he was actually here.
Yep.
All right, here's the run. That's what Oregon needs. Good play to get him out of that 10-yard line start. Tony Brooks-James gets it out to the 32.
He's got such unique bursts. Check it out in real time. Whew.
65 yards rushing for Freeman today, and that puts Brooks up, or James over 40. They'll try it the other side. No. Pounded by Justin Thomas.
This defensive line, they do such a good job of just knowing their responsibility. See Hunter Demick, he does a good job. You get inside-out pursuit from Cody Barton. And obviously Justin Thomas gets it rolling there from the nickel position, but this team does such a good job, Ted, of understanding their job. Their football acumen is as high as any defense in the conference.
Herbert on 2nd down. Underneath throw. Barton wraps up the receiver and drops Jalen Brown. It's going to leave Oregon 3rd.
And this in the linebacker position was an area of major question. Jared Norris, Gianni Paul, it was ridiculously productive players.
Nate Orchard.
Yep.
All right, Oregon needs 6. 3rd downs haven't been good for them today. 2 out of 10 total. The Muss there, trying to do its job to help the Utah defense. Extra people come, and Herbert's throw is caught. Nicely done. Darren Carrington at the 45.
That's the best play Darren Carrington's made in a couple weeks, and it's a confidence play. Press coverage, man coverage, 3rd down conversion, perfect throw, catches it front, shoulder roll, change move. He's going to have to make plays if Oregon wants to get back in this ballgame and create some explosive points.
Yeah, that was 2nd catch of the day for Carrington. Freeman's going to get bottled up here. Freeman has had 12 carries, 6 receptions, so he's had a bunch of touches, but just not the... At least what I think, and we talked about the first week at Autzen Stadium, where I thought, with all the McCaffrey praise, this was the most unheralded player in the conference, and it just had this year just hasn't been to what we would have expected for Royce Freeman. Well, there's the first time they've gotten to Herbert since the first drive when Dimick had 2 sacks. Lotelele.
And they just blow up the entire interior of the line. Look at it, just a bull rush, gets by him. How about those feet, quick hands? Talked to Morgan Scally yesterday, the defensive coordinator, about the technique of the D lineman. He said, if you don't understand and buy in our technique, you can't play here. So we said, what's the technique? He goes, it's matching your feet and your hands, keeping your hands inside, utilizing quick feet, making plays in the backfield.
So now 3rd and 20. Herbert's looking for Carrington. Throwing it to Carrington. Overthrown. He's looking at him the whole way, coming out of the left slot. Herbert got a bump at the end of the play from Tassini.
Does a good job waiting, staying in the pocket, but kind of threw up a prayer.
You could see there the importance of having a wide receiver. 3rd and 20, he was locked, and knowing Carrington was going to be his shot, right?
And I think you'll see Oregon when they get the ball back. I would isolate Darren Carrington on the outside, just take a shot down the field. Try to get your playmaker when your fastest guy is the ball.
So Wheeler bangs another one out. Hobbs. Well, that's a tough catch, and he had Brandon Schooler right on him on the punt cover as we were just over 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. So Cindy, I am so jealous. I've never been in the Muss. Look where you are.
The Muss is amazing. Standing room only with this group of folks. It is the mighty Utah student section, and they feel they willed that sack against Herbert to come through. This is one of the best student cheering sections in all of the Pac-12, and it is a wonderful part of Rice-Eccles Stadium. Again, you cannot sit during the game. Right next door is the friends and family section, but here it is stand and be proud. Guys?
I love that. And they're great, and they do the same thing with the energy that men's basketball now has here with Larry Kristokoviak's time. The Muss comes out there too, and it's a look out and see the Huntsman Center from our booth right here, and it's a great atmosphere. Injured player, and that's one Oregon doesn't need. Tony Brooks James already down Griffin on in the running back position, and man,
lands pretty hard on that leg. And for such a small guy, he really is a violent player. You know, he's not afraid of contact. He's 5'9", $185. Attacks linebackers in protection. Clearly runs down fearless on punt coverage.
That's a good sign for Oregon that he can get up and get off the field. Of course, the Civil War next week in Corvallis. Here's what's ahead tonight. We've got the big game coming from Berkeley. Stanford and Cal will follow us here on Pac-12 Network. And then later tonight, Arizona and Oregon State. That's going to be a feel-good night. Somebody's going to get a win they really need. And then, of course, other games, Arizona State at Washington. And the Rose Bowl tonight for USC and UCLA.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You know, I look at Oregon State. Tell you what, you look at their last week in recruiting. They've really picked up some steam with some commits.
Joe Williams on the carry, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Be something tonight if Gary Anderson could get a second conference win, given where they're. And of course, Rich Rod's would love to get a win.
But you look at what's going on in Arizona, just the state. Look at both of those schools. The injuries both teams have had to deal with has been dramatic. And what's great about Oregon State, and Utah fans can appreciate this, it's the quote-unquote Utah way in terms of recruiting, developing, managing student athletes. And they're an extremely young team, but they've been competing their tails off week in and week out. Last week was a great example against the Bruins.
Williams going to pass the ball down the far side, just missed. And he got Butler Bird, who would run up the sideline past Jawan Williams. That was a big play there. Waiting to happen.
Nice job. Timmy Patrick clears it out. Man-to-man coverage on the wheel route. He's got him. And look, when we get into championship settings, I've always said this, Taylor, I think you got to make 3 throws a game. You know, 3 big kid throws. And as Utah continues on in this game, 14-3 only, this week, the next week, potentially another week, they're going to have to complete some of these passes.
Williams steps up on third. No, can't get away. Justin Hollins got the jersey, didn't let go. And the Ducks defense stands up to force a 3 and out.
You know, Justin Holland, Jalen Jelks, TJ Daniels, they kind of all look the part, right? All 6'6". See a twist up front. Great job on the edge from Jalen Jenks. Forces Troy Williams to climb the pocket. Justin Hollins does the rest. He cleans it up, and everybody's attacking it. So it makes you wonder about, wow, next year, imagine those types of players with another year of weight training. Two guys that are massive.
You see Brady Hope. He's just got to be trying to get as much positive feeling in for these defenders. Now Dylan Mitchell broke past the first wave. And Dylan Mitchell making a big play for Oregon inside the Utah 30. And that's going to give the Ducks a big lift. Field position has been against them in this third quarter. He just switched it.
Well, they've been waiting for Dylan Mitchell since spring football. He dominated in the spring game, got hurt in training camp, hasn't done a lot this season. Last week goes and becomes a punt returner for the first time all season. They know that he's ready to break one. He did that one all on his own. Makes the first guy miss, doesn't get a lot of help. Explosive plays, explosive playmakers. This young man out of Tennessee might be their most explosive right now, with Charles Nelson being out of the game.
Charles Nelson had a 46-yard punt return this year for the Ducks. That was 45 by Mitchell. And it now gives Oregon, in the final minute of the third quarter, a fabulous opening here to put some more drama and some tension into Rice-Eccles Stadium. Freeman. Double flip back pass. Wide open. Touchdown, Oregon. Jaylen Brown. Well, they had a play. They've been holding it in their pocket, Yogi. As an old coach, you know that feeling. They pulled it at the right moment.
And those are the ones when you're up in the booth, you're Matty Lubick, you're calling it, you're just kind of holding your breath, saying, he's there, he's got it, we got it, we got it. Great execution, great patience.
Oregon's going to go for 2 here, trying to make this a 3-point game. So it took nearly 3 quarters, but the Ducks used special teams. The thing you thought was going to be big for Utah has been, but it's Dylan Mitchell's punt return that set it up, and one play. Touchdown pass from Herbert to Brown, 29 yards. Now it's a Reese's go for 2. Herbert adjusting things to the line. He's got Freeman to his right. Freeman shifts, and now all kinds of problems.
Prior to the snap. Timeout, Oregon.
Yeah, play
the
clock.
First of the half. Seconds in length.
All right, so while that Oregon timeout happens, here's the touchdown.
Yeah, you're going to see it at the top. A great job of disguise right here. And Jaylen Brown's going to act like he's going to block. All of a sudden, away he goes. Great execution from everyone involved. From Royce Freeman to the pass back to Justin Herbert. You see Darren Carrington on the fake right here. Nice job, easy pitch. It was wide open, not even close. High points the ball, touchdown, Ducks.
What do you see on tape? Do you see defensive backs that get aggressive to bite on a run? Is that what sets that play up?
Well, 1,000%. You kind of get eyes, they get a little lazy, get caught in the backfield, and Oregon has done such a nice job of attacking the perimeter, attacking the flats with the tight end out of the backfield. That formation screamed that type of play was going to happen.
All right, here's interesting. So now, after the timeout, earlier Mark Helfrich took a timeout, chose to punt out of it, now takes a timeout with the play clock running and has sent the PAT team out. And Oregon wanting the ball moved with a conversion kicker. They want the ball moved into the middle of the field. Frank Schneider missed a shorter field goal just outside of 30 yards earlier in the game. And he puts the point through. And so it is a 4-point game in the final minute of the third quarter in Salt Lake City. Let's check in elsewhere and go back to San Francisco. Greg Wolf.
All right, thanks. Time for this Valvoline game break. Back to Boulder. The backfield for the Cougars been a huge part of the offense. Not just running the ball, but as pass catchers as well. Luke Falk to Jamal Morrow, 46-yard touchdown. Washington State leads on the road 14-7 over Colorado.
All right, Greg, and of course the Apple Cup in Pullman next Saturday. Yeah, unless Washington gets stunned today at home. Unless that happens, that Apple Cup will be for the North title next week. And by the way, Colorado can afford a loss.
Yeah.
Colorado could lose today and still play for the South title next week. Utah can't. That's what makes this game important.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to go watch that film. And they lose a player, Alabodi, due to a targeting penalty, and he's that nickel dime defender who's always playing the middle of the field, playing those backs. And what do we see right there? Attacking that from Luke Falk in Washington State. Because they do attack matchups, and they've lost River Craycraft, but they put so much pressure on the defense because they come at you from so many different lanes in the passing game.
All right, ball off the tee as Wogan was approaching it.
He makes a decision to go for one instead of going for two there for Mark Helfrich. The reason you go for one and take the short points, you're saying there's a lot of football left. You know, you don't have to play for that. If there were 6 minutes left in the game, I would have gone for two.
And it's interesting because earlier in the year, of course, the Duck fans know this well, how the game at Nebraska really stands out with Mark doing that, constantly running that formation to see if he had a mismatch.
Well, it's interesting because what it says is that I've got confidence in my defense. You know, I got confidence that we're going to get a couple stops here and get the ball a few times here in the fourth quarter.
And Wogan drives that one out the back of the end zone. And of course, what's living is a missed field goal by Schneider, and of course this goes back to some of the heartbreak losses early in the year. Mike Riley in Nebraska outlasting the Ducks. This one Witherspoon's pick at the end. And just an insane game at Cal where Cal ran 118 plays.
There's been some heartbreak for them when you look at this team, and you know, they changed the quarterbacks. They got 4 redshirt freshmen. Their best player, one of the top offensive linemen in the country, Crosby, doesn't play. You know, I mean, some things have happened to this team that clearly you wouldn't have projected this year. And
Troy Williams fires that one incomplete. You looked at those scores as Singleton was the intended receiver there. See the fewest points the Ducks have scored this year, 21 at Washington against a very, very good team. 32 at Nebraska the next few. So it gives you an idea how rare this game is for the Ducks. That goes back to Arizona. Last time Oregon didn't score 20 in a game was at Arizona some years back, and Kadeem Carey had a huge day against him. That ball. That one's the nerve-wracking one for the offense. That ball floats in the air after the tip.
It's been impressive, this defensive line. I mean, the push, the effort. I mean, you didn't expect to see it from this team coming in. That's Wayne T. Kirby. That's a true freshman.
Pocatello, Idaho got his hand on that. So now Utah has third down. Now remember, the Ducks, or the Utes rather, just had a 3-and-out.
Oregon, Mark Helfrich, Brady Hoke feeling confident in their defense, and it's because of this defensive front. By far their best game of the season.
Utah 3rd and 10, not able to get run game going the last 2 possessions. Troy Williams looking for receivers, nobody separating. Still buying time. And finally going to run it to the sideline and out of bounds. All right, my partner, Mr. Receiver. Receivers didn't get clear there, did they?
No, they didn't. A really incredible job in the back end. The way the play develops, you think, okay, Troy Williams might have a chance to make a play here. There's only a 3-man rush. And this is where Oregon has struggled this year, but they all stay in their lanes. It breaks down, and now you're thinking this is when Oregon does everything. Okay, now freeze it real quick. Nothing there, nothing there. You see it, defenders there on that wide receiver. There's nowhere for Troy Williams to go as he's rolling to his left, his offhand. So Oregon defenders, defensive backs specifically, a young group, just doing their job, staying home. And I'll tell you what, if you're watching this one at home, you might be saying, whoa, we got a close one, Ted.
We have a game. Oregon's going to get the ball when we start the 4th, and the Utes lead, not safe. Game summaries brought to you by Can-Am. Joe Williams, another 100-yard rush day. Troy Williams, good pass numbers, but touchdowns. Touchdowns have been hard to find today.
I'll tell you, the summary for me is the last 4 possessions of Utah, it's been 3rd and 9 or more, and they haven't converted. I mean, who would have thought they'd be in 3rd and 9 the way they traditionally run the football?
You see Utah's punt formation, 2 cover men, both spread wide to the right. Wisnowski angles the punt that way. And Utah, sure, they got a little inspired. Flag down as well on the catch and punt return. I would imagine they got a little inspiration to not let Dylan Mitchell break another one. Jason Thompson leading the special teams cover, making the tackle.
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 23. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So the Ducks will be back inside the 10. A tight 4th quarter game in Salt Lake City as our Heisman Watch is presented by Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
I think Lamar Jackson's always going to be in the conversation the way his season's gone. And I think it's time you start talking about Luke Falk. I really do. The way he's played. Jake Browning's close in that conversation, but didn't look great here in Salt Lake and didn't have his best game, obviously, against USC.
From the 4, Freeman. Freeman got the outside. Nice job by Royce Freeman. He used every inch of that 53-yard width there, and he punches it out to the 9.
It's a great call because he easily could have cut back. A lot of times power backs will do that, but he trusts his speed, stretches it, and gets him out of being extremely backed up.
2nd down, looking to throw it. Oh, he got a good fake there on Dimmick, but then Utah teammates combine, Barton and Lotulelei, and there'll be no gain for Herbert. 3rd down coming.
They say the quarterback to steal a pump. He steals a pump. Look at Dimmick go all the way flying, but that pursuit inside out. Barton, Lotulelei. That's why this team defense is one of the tops in the conference.
3 receivers to the bottom, the short side of the field for Oregon. So Herbert throws the slant to the top, and he's got the 1st down. So they isolated up top Carrington, and he made the move on Reggie Porter.
It's a great job. He sees a deep safety, sees a window. All of a sudden, Justin Herbert finds it. Slant, Carrington, all day long. That's a great job of him understanding that Marcus Williams was not going to drop down into the box, found the window.
All right, so Carrington had to run off after that hard hit. Herbert keeps it. Herbert got the outside. And here's Oregon. They've escaped the shadow of their goal line, and they're out across the 35.
Well, how about the block that he picks up? Alex Ofadale hasn't played a lot of football. The redshirt freshman out of Missouri coming in. Keep in mind, Charles Nelson out. Darren Carrington on the sideline. They got a phrase at Oregon, Ted. It's no block, no rock. Nice block by that young man.
And they've got carry there. That is Benoit getting in the game. First carry today for Benoit.
Chance to cut back there, too. Thought he would cut back. A lot of green grass. And it's hard when you go up against Utah. You expect such great inside-out pursuit. When it's not there, sometimes you're not even looking for it.
What a job by Justin Herbert and company. Again, flipping field position, which has been against Oregon most of this half. Brooks James had the outside. Still going. Run out of bounds finally. But not until Brian Allen runs him out of bounds, but not until he's inside the Utah 30.
A great block. You'll see it on the left side of your screen. Johnny Mudd, boom, all of a sudden he cuts right through and he gets past one of the surest tacklers in the Pac-12 conference, and Chase Hansen.
Well, now you really feel the tension in Rice-Eccles Stadium. Oregon from their 4-yard line has moved it inside the 25 and down close to the 20.
Check out this block from Johnny Mudd. Boom. Legal with the shoulder. Clinic worthy. Tony Brooks James, which, oh, by the way, a series ago, didn't know if he was going to be injured. Comes right back and looked pretty fresh right there.
And that was Alex Opedale that made the catch on that pass. Here's Freeman. Freeman to the 2-yard line. First and goal for the Ducks.
You think Royce Freeman doesn't hear the talk about him? Who is Royce Freeman now? Where has his ability been? Putting him on his back on that last run.
Marked it at the, just outside the 2.
Darren Carrington back in the slot, bottom of your screen.
Yeah, that's who Herbert's looking for, and they got batted down the line. So they're going to try to just target Carrington off that slot.
You know what Utah's doing differently now from the first half. In the first half, there was a lot of scheming, trying to get their tight ends, their running backs in the flat. Now they're saying, okay, you want to play man coverage? Because this is what Utah does. All right, let's see if we can take a couple shots. Slant earlier in the drive, tried it down the last snap.
Tulele got the paws up on that. Oregon just a moment ago backed up to their 4-yard line. Now just almost 3 yards from taking the lead. Freeman. No. And that's by the leg. It was Taumo Pinu that had him by the leg, didn't let go.
Touchdown saving tackle as well.
So 3rd and goal. And this time Oregon goes empty.
They love a quick throw right here to their tight end down to the bottom of the screen.
Breland is in the right slot, but Herbert's going left for Freeman. Touchdown, Oregon! 96 yards to take their first lead.
Check out the way that they finish it. It's going to be Darren Carrington right here. He's going to run a slant and just kind of get in the way right there. Right? They call it a rub on offense. They call it a pick on defense. Yeah. and I get that. There's clear frustration from Utah there. There was contact versus Carrington turning like he's going to run a route.
That's Yogi. That's a route everybody runs.
Everybody runs it at every level of football.
And you're right. Defense, that's a pick play. Offense, good rubber.
That's right.
And so Oregon, what a flip here. 96-yard drive.
An incredible drive, great patience, and it pays off to go for one. The previous time they're in the red zone, 3-point lead right now for the Ducks.
An 11-play, 96-yard drive, and that's a big play. The Herbert run.
And he picks up a block from Alex Opedale. You know, everybody's kind of doing their job on this drive. Great block on that last play from Johnny Munt to spring Tony Brooks-James. Then the man has been kind of misaligned all season long. And Royce Freeman puts him on his back, and they get the old rub play for a tug.
7-run, 4-pass on the 11-play drive for the Ducks. Well, if there's any question about something you referenced early, Yogi, that the Oregon Ducks have not stopped playing. You've seen it here. I mean, they are out 14-3, and suddenly, bang. Biggest play has been the punt return by Dylan Mitchell. That flipped field position quickly, and Oregon has really steeled its momentum after that. So the Ducks have the lead here. Let's check in elsewhere. Greg Wolf.
All right, thanks. Time for this Gatorade game break. Number 2, Ohio State barely survived earlier. Number 3, Michigan down early to Indiana. Camion Patrick 2-yard score. Hoosiers up 7-3. Second quarter. Ted, Yogi, back to you.
You know, look, that's an early game, but for whatever reason, conferences sometimes get crowned as being, okay, this is the best conference. It's been SEC for a long time. It's the Big Ten this year. When you look at how they play, when they play teams, nothing's been impressive today from the 2 top teams from the Big Ten.
And so now Utah back to work. And will they try to get Joe Williams going again? 7 yards on that first down carry. It's going to give him 128 for the day.
If I'm Utah, I'm continually following this running game. But again, if you want to be a championship team, you got to complete 3 big-time passes. Yeah. And there's going to be a play on this drive where Troy Williams is going to have to deliver. He's shown that he can. We've seen it against SC to win the ball game. Saw it against UW at times. Saw it last week against Arizona State.
Ooh, not there. Not there, trying to get the quick ball out in the flat to Hanley. Oregon, Bryson Young, freshman from Clovis, California. That's him that was in the path.
I mean, every time we name somebody making a play for Oregon's defense, it's like they're a freshman or a redshirt freshman or in their second year in the program.
Well, what they've done right now, there's still 10 minutes to play here, but they've silenced a stadium, and that is a powerful thing for the visiting team to do. Third down, again to throw for. Williams tries it, and it's broken up. Trying to hit Evan Moyai.
They're 0 for their last 5 third downs.
And I'm intrigued that after on 2nd and 3 and 3rd and 3, both throws.
Yeah, and when have we ever said all season long, or would have even predicted today, saying, you know, wow, you don't want to go against this Oregon defense on 3rd down. You're going to struggle against them. I mean, this is a defense that clearly has not played well throughout this season.
So Wishnowski will punt it away. Oregon's going to get the ball here on the flow. No! Did he touch it? That's the ruling here. Nope, going to rule it a touchback. He did not touch the ball.
Oh, here it is. Signals fair catch. Oh, I don't know, Ted.
I don't know.
The ruling on the field is the receiver did not touch the kick. The result of the play is a touchback. First down.
Well, that's huge. Of course, had his fingertip graze the ball, it's a muff and it's a live ball. Instead, it is an Oregon touchback and one giant exhale from Dylan Mitchell. This play is being reviewed. And so the question is, does the left hand of Dylan Mitchell, does the ball graze his fingertips? If so, live ball. Then we get to the question, Yogi Roth, that we encountered at Cal earlier this year. Is there an immediate recovery,
right,
which it appears, I would think that would be ruled an immediate recovery by Chase Hansen, which would be a touchdown.
Yeah, you're referencing the Cal-Texas game. Yes. You're exactly right.
So this is a tough one. This is a really tough position for the crew here at the stadium in Salt Lake City and as well at Command Center in San Francisco. Hi, David Coleman is with us.
Go ahead.
And we're waiting for, and we'll hear from David Coleman when we get the ruling. And again, there you see the ruling on the field was ball not touched, touchback. Pretty significant when you have a potential team playing for a potential berth in the conference championship game. It gives you an idea how significant this call is.
Well, you look at the history of this game, there's been dramatic calls in the last 2 years, and dramatic plays the last 2 years. Obviously, Kalen Clay. Then last year, the punt return with Boobie Hobbs. And I think it touches his finger.
Yeah. You think it did?
Yeah, I think it did. And I'm really curious about the call of, is it a live ball or is it ruled dead? Just like in the Cal-Texas game.
And again, we'll hear from the Pac-12 Vice President, David Coleman. We'll hear from David from San Francisco as soon as we hear what the final decision is. And again, given the ball or given the call on the field, there has to be a clear evidence. Now here's the ball back into the end zone. And there you see the back judge stopping play. That's why this, to me, gets, and that's what Mark Helfrich is saying, and that's what makes this, from the announcer's eyes here, it makes it very difficult.
Yep. And as always now, the last couple of years, fans can see the replay, so you can clearly imagine the vibe here at Rice-Eccles. I think it grazes his finger.
After review, the ball was touched by the receiving team player. The ball was recovered in the immediate continuing action following the touching, resulting in a touchdown.
That's interesting.
Well, that is, of course, a huge, significant call. And now we'll talk to Pac-12 Vice President David Coleman. David, give us your take on this.
They got it right. The ball was touched. A fair catch was indicated. The ball was touched. The ball is live going into the end zone, and it was recovered by the kickers.
David, is it significant? We saw the back judge signaling, crossing his hands over the top of his head. Is that important to the play when the whistle blew? All those factors come into play?
That was continuing action. That's the important thing. He signaled a touchback. He didn't see the touch, but the continuing action takes precedence over that.
So how hard is it for the player to know? If he's looking at the official seeing his hands up, in Dylan Mitchell's eyes, he might be saying, okay, play's over versus potentially recovering it.
Well, players aren't supposed to watch officials. They've got to go for the ball. If the ball appears to be alive, they've got to go for the ball.
And so, David, this again, the last question. This goes back to that play we saw early this year when the Cal running back dropped the ball prior to the goal line. In this case, there was, as you said, a continuous action recovery. Is that why the call is touchdown?
That's correct.
Great. All right, David, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, you're welcome. Take care.
David Coleman, Pac-12 Vice President of Officiating. You can understand all the reactions you're seeing from Mark Helfrich and the Ducks are completely understandable. That's a gut punch.
Yeah.
At a point where you feel like you've taken control of the game, one special teams play swings it. And Phillips puts it through, and now Utah has regained the lead. Dylan Mitchell made a tremendous play, a huge punt return to set up a score. This one cost 7.
Well, it's a true freshman. I've been back there returning punts, and sometimes you think you're going to be under it, and it's not all of a sudden dramatic play. But this has happened before here, right? The flair for the dramatics in this type of ball game. Kalen Clay, you think it's a house call. Utes are on their way to potential big upset. Drops it. Seen it all across the country since then. Hasn't taught everybody the lesson of finishing all the way through the end zone.
Yeah. And as you see, and we talked with David Coleman about this very play earlier this year. That play was officiated, that night here was officiated perfectly. They never called touchdown. They dropped the beanbag, dropped the hat, and Oregon wisely played it. Joe Walker eventually ran it back for a touchdown.
Karma comes in different ways, I guess you could say. But the good thing about this, it's 21-17. It's still a ball game. Obviously, Ducks get the rock. Excited to watch Dylan Mitchell come back here on offense. I'd try to get him the ball right now.
Well, let's see if Phillips, if Hayes Hicken just drives this. And he does. Of course, being in altitude, you have a kicker with a strong enough leg, you pretty much take the kick return out. All right, so now this crowd, and I just mentioned 5 minutes ago, Yogi, Oregon had done what the visiting team always wants in a day like this. You've silenced the house, and now they're back to life off the one play.
This place is rocking. Cindy's been in the muss. It's fully alive. But now if you're Justin Herbert, and I've always felt, if you go on the road and your season's kind of been a downer like Oregon's has, this is actually a comforting element.
Freeman to start. Nice cut back. Look at the space. And Oregon's still alive. Royce Freeman makes sure of that. 25 yards on the first play. Let's get a vibe from this Oregon sideline. Cindy?
Tremendous energy on this sideline, fellas. They've got a big chip on their shoulder now. They feel like the officials were against them. Mark Helfrich was pleading his case, saying the field judge signaled dead play. That's why my guy didn't go after the football, but to no avail. So it was on everybody on the sideline to say, you know what, that's okay. Let's put it behind us. We got this. In fact, some of the players were chanting in unison with the Utah songs that were being played over the PA system. Like, we don't care where we're at. We got to win this game.
Well, this day is unfolding as a very nice statement about where Oregon football is, despite the record. The record's nobody wants. Chase Hansen was shaken up on that play, has to come off. Herbert ran this play earlier. Herbert gets 5 on it.
The zone read game, what's it's done to this Utah defense. By the way, Chase Hansen is now on the sideline, one of the more consistent players in the back end. It gives you the ability to take advantage of man coverage on the outside.
Hansen has not come back in on 2nd down. Freeman running. Oh, and a good, strong tackle, or Freeman might still be going. Wow. That Donovan Thompson having to come in with Chase Hansen out.
Yeah, and he's another true freshman. We're kind of seeing the future of the Pac-12 as well. Out of Miami Central High School, Dennis Erickson recruit.
That is a strong play, and we have another man down. We have a Utah player down, so we'll take a break. Pac-12 football is presented by Valvoline, now celebrating 150 years under the hood. For more on the storied history of Valvoline, visit teamvalvoline.com. And by Dr. Pepper, it's a college football tradition. Yesterday, Utah High School football championship games, 3 of them played at Rice-Eccles Stadium. The Bingham Miners won the 5A title. That's what you're seeing. And now the State University and a real fight. Oregon 3rd and 1. And Freeman got through, drops the ball, and it rolls right to Carrington.
Can you predict this?
Wow. No.
I mean, what a fight by Royce Freeman. Not a lot there. Finds a crease. And an incredible job. I think that's Marcus Williams in there. Gets a hand on the ball. The way it bounces, man.
And the Ducks' fortune keeps this drive going after poor fortune just cost him a touchdown. Herbert looking big. Taking a shot down the near side. Juggled, caught. Let's see. They're going to say, after a conference, catch by Jaylen Brown at the 6.
What a great job at the bottom, those 2 wide receivers. Fake the stock block. Herbert throws it up. Gives him a chance.
The ruling on the field of a completed pass is under review.
And of course, they'll stop. Oregon was trying to hurry up and run a play, and now we'll take a pause here to see if this indeed stands as a catch.
I think it does. It's the right foot. Right. That heel is not on the white. It's the right foot. Left goes first, but watch the right. He has control. Not there. Bam, right there. I think it's a catch. And these 2 officials are right on it. Bobbles left foot, right foot.
Yep, and they took their time. The 2 officials in the picture you'll see conferred before deciding on the field catch.
That's big time, man. I mean, that is a big time catch. And again, a sophomore. Okay, for everybody that thinks that the Oregon team is fractured, falling apart, clearly today is a great example of it's not. It's also an example of the youth that they have, from Justin Herbert, Jaylen Brown, Dylan Mitchell. You know, I call those plays pace plays, plays after critical errors. Can you come back in? How do you respond as a team, as a unit? And it's got to be conclusive to overturn. I don't think it is, Ted.
It looks like he secures the ball. I think maybe the question is, does he secure the ball before that left foot hit out of bounds?
Right. Well, his right heel is what stays on the ground to the last possible second. When his toe's on, he doesn't necessarily have, but I think by the time he's on his heel, when you frame by frame go through that, to me it's a completion. Watch his right foot. Toes up, but the heel's down.
After review, the ruling on the field of a catch is confirmed. First down.
31 yards. 31-yard pass and a terrific Jaylen Brown catch. Oregon has 1st and goal. And they're not fooling around. They're coming right back to the line.
Keep an eye on Johnny Munt, your tight end right here, coming out the back door.
Freeman is to the goal line and pushed. They're going to rule him down. He got the rugby push help there at the end, but he's ruled down just shy.
Does this not look like the Royce Freeman you expected to see all season long?
It's the Royce Freeman that I thought you would be having in the Heisman thing we've done every week all year. I really did. I thought both he and McCaffrey would be there. And now the drive by Freeman, and the ruling is no. See no signal yet. Carrington out there on this wing pleading the case. Freeman doesn't make it, and it's third down.
That was close. Great job avoiding Lolo Tulele.
Well, it's about as close as it could be without a touchdown. Looks to be 6 inches.
That's the right call.
So Chase Hansen back in on that tackle, third down. And Herbert will keep it, and Herbert gets in. Oregon touchdown, and the Ducks come right back.
Great recognition by Justin Herbert. The eye discipline necessary to operate this offense is all about reading the edge, reading that last man on the line of scrimmage. If they crash down, I'm going to keep it. And for a true freshman, if you're giving me the option, I can give it to our leader, Royce Freeman, or keep it with a game on the line. A lot of true freshmen are going to give it to that big back.
Well, is under further review.
We're in that mode here. Everything's going to be reviewed, and they're going to look to see if Herbert's knee was down. Watch Herbert's knee. Let's take a better look. First look, I wondered.
Perfect read.
Of course, those angles don't show it. This is the one.
That right knee
there
is the ball across.
That's going to be the question.
I think it is. I mean, with his knee that close to the goal line, and as long as his torso is.
Without a goal line camera, that I'm not sure how you could overturn this.
What an awesome job by him. Him and Marcus Williams, they both do their job perfectly. I think he's in.
And this is the problem that we're in this world now, and I don't know how we go back, but it's the problem with replay. If you start parsing things too carefully and too closely when you don't have a clear-cut view. And again, his knee's down, but the measure is where's the ball.
After review, the ruling on the field stands is called. Touchdown.
He's grown up a lot in the second half, hasn't he, Herbert?
Well, this team has. You know, and it would have been real easy to come here in the cold. It's a little chilly. It's an early game. Everybody's telling you things are falling apart. Could have wilted. Big touchdown early from Utah. What have they done? They've competed every single snap.
And Schneider gives Oregon a 3-point lead again. And the Ducks coming right back after what could have been a devastating special teams touchdown against them. And they go 75 yards on 8 plays.
And this team, they've battled. You know, you look at them this season and their losses. Obviously, we called the one at Cal. The punt return heard around the state of Utah. Everybody wanted multiple penalties called, nothing there. Touchdown, Washington gets a win on the road. They're that close all season long to being undefeated. I mean, that's 2 plays. And now here they are, 6:41 left. And you think back to that USC game.
Well, that's the other one. Now you can hover on the close losses. They also beat USC on the last play, virtually the last play.
That's exactly right. And it was Troy Williams, 93-yard drive where he converted 2 fourth downs. And again, what do we talk about every week? You got to complete 3 critical passes. Where are they going to come up for Troy Williams in Utah?
Of course, this game, USC's hopes of staying alive in the Pac-12 South hinge on this. Logan bangs one out the back. Their in-game leaders presented by Taco Bell. And the second half, Oregon, after a slower start, has really riled up. In fact, Oregon's up to 500 yards of offense now. Those individuals. Oregon has run 18 more plays than Utah. Oregon has run 76 plays today.
How about in this fourth quarter? They have 171 yards to 7 by Utah.
All right, now we get a flag before Utah can.
First down.
Yeah, Utah, Corey Butler-Bird was on the field and he wasn't supposed to be. Tried to get off, but Utah got caught for 5.
You know what's great about this now? We're in real time getting to see how Utah will handle adversity. You know, is this a championship team? Is this a team that knows how to finish? Look at the last couple years. They've struggled in this area.
Yep.
Bowl game on the line, title on the line. I'm excited to watch this senior-laden team.
That's really a call, Yo, because again, it's hurdles. Every coach will talk about it. Kyle Whittingham has talked about it. Troy Williams comes back to the near side. Singleton with a catch. And it's going to be just short of a first down. Kyle Whittingham admitted, I asked him this week about last year's game at Autzen. He said, yeah, that was a milestone. It was a hurdle for our program to win a game there.
How about the eyes right here, Troy Williams, scanning the field, full field reads, all the way to his backside, not pressing at all. You talk to his teammates and say, tell me about Troy, what's he like? And they're like, man, his confidence, his swagger, it just oozes to us. Saw it late in the SC game in the comeback. We'll see if you see it today.
Second down, quick throw to Butler-Bird. Oh, he tried to get outside, he'll lose yardage. So there's where trying to make the big play didn't work. And I don't know if he had gone vertical there, he might have gotten just enough to get the first down.
You know, we've said it a lot this year. You know, where's the first-round draft pick on Utah's defense? Not sure if it's there. You can never say where's the athleticism on their defense. Watch them rally to the football. Troy Dye, Jimmy Swain, fly to the football.
The play lost 3. So now the Utes need a play. Need 4. Patrick outside right. Runs that little route. Caught. And Oregon gave him a little bit more cushion than I would have thought on 3rd and 4. And Troy Williams took advantage.
Easy. Call it a space combination. A little in route. Sit. If it's man-to-man, you run out. It was. Both Tim Patrick on the same page. He recognizes the coverage. Perfect spot throw. Moving the chains.
Joe Williams middle. He gets a good drive there. He got almost 7 on first down. So we go under 5 minutes. And we have another banged player. Man, Oregon. I don't know how many more defensive injuries they can endure.
That's Elijah George.
Yes, Elijah George, defensive lineman.
And to me, you know, right now, they get the game ball. You know, as many great things Justin Herbert's done, Royce Freeman, but this defensive line against an overmatched offensive line, they play with great effort, great pad level. I mean, they truly have battled every snap.
Yogi, we started this by saying, could Oregon's offensive line block Utah's D-line? They've done a good job. And the flip side on this is exactly right. Oregon's D-line has stood up against a very good offensive line.
Yeah. And, you know, when they hired Brady Hoke and changed to this one-gap scheme, what it's supposed to do is take advantage of the athleticism, meaning you only have one job. You have one lane, get off as quick as you can, stay as low as you can. It was really hard for this defensive line to adapt to. A lot of them are used to the two-gap scheme, meaning do I dip inside, do I dip outside? The outside linebackers, the Jalen Jelks, the Justin Hollins, they were playing off the ball, now they're on it. You've seen them learn in real time how to play this defense, and today, for the first time all season, it's come together.
All right, Elijah George off, and Utah will go back to work. Joe Williams run for 6, gives him 134 for the day. But right now, Utah needs points. And Joe Williams is going to drive, but not get the first down. He is short. And you're now starting to get to that point where on the Utah sideline, you have to think is it all in? Do I put it all into this possession?
I think you do. I think you do. With the success that Oregon's had, not only in Royce Freeman running the ball, but Justin Herbert on some of the keepers, some of the quick passes.
Well, Oregon had a stop on 4th and 1 in the first half. Can they do it again on 3rd and 1 here? Throwing for it. Catching it is Patrick. Against Amadi, first down Utah.
There's number 1. We talked about 3 big-time throws. There's number 1 in this 4th quarter. Man-to-man coverage, isolation coverage. The run-pass option, eyes go to his right, comes backside. Great job on the slant. Best receiver against the best corner. His 6th grab of the game, Timmy Patrick.
6 for 58. Patrick leading Utah receiver today. Joe Williams. And he got to the 38 before being turned back. It's still a good 5-yard first down run. And for the most part, that's what Joe Williams has done today. He's been able to get them good first down runs.
His explosiveness continues to show up. His patience continues to show up. And what's going to be interesting now is the patience in the huddle. You know, we're 3 minutes left. Do they try to go a little bit faster? They say, no, we got it. We're good. We got enough time.
Joe Williams up the middle. Oh, he was close. And we'll have to watch a replay. I'm not sure if he got clipped.
Oh, yeah, he just gets tripped up. Nice job. Double team right there at the point of attack. Nick Nowakowski, right guard. Nice little chip shot. Whew.
That one little stumble away from me might have been going.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, now I think we're definitely at that point where Utah, now again, a field goal could get them potentially to overtime, but they're in on this possession. There will be no more. They've got time, and they're using it. They have 2 timeouts. To the end zone. Touchdown, Utah! Evan Moiai. And there's your second throw.
Nailed it. We'll talk about being a champion, playing when it matters. If you're the quarterback of any championship team, you got a deal, man. Here's an opportunity, an absolute rope shot. Great route by Evan Moiai. And as always, man, how great is ball, bro? I mean, how great is this? Great game, great finish, and we still got time.
Well, Oregon does. They will have more than enough time to try to navigate this, what is now a crucial point for Phillips to kick. And so Utah's up 4. 2:18 and 2 timeouts.
Check out the release from Evan Moiai. You'll see it at the top of your screen. There's Tyree Robinson. Really nice job. Robinson goes to the outside. Moiai presses the outside, then puts his right foot in the ground. It's exactly how you coach that route up. And then just come right up the seam, and it's on the quarterback to lead you inside. When you press the DB wide, you've got field in the middle to work away from the safety. That is absolute clinic worthy. Great anticipatory skills from Troy Williams. How about that angle right there? That's perfect right there, man.
Well, Yogi Roth was calling for 3 throws. Wouldn't you say Troy Williams made 2 on that drive?
No, 1,000%.
Yep. So, we are glad you're with us for the game of the day on the Pac-12 Network. We kick off the triple-header with the one that has the most meaning in the conference races, and it's played out that way. Utah trying to keep themselves alive. They were 5-1 in the conference last year, Utah, and they lost a double overtime game at Tucson. And that really derailed their hopes of playing in the championship game. And if Utah wins, again, if they can hold on in these last 2:18, they will play in Boulder next Saturday for the South title. It doesn't matter what Colorado does in their game today.
How about Justin Herbert, too? I mean, honestly, coming of age, you look at the youth of this team, you know, he hasn't flinched. When it's been a big moment, a big stage, a critical down and distance, he's kept the ball in his hands when it's mattered. The trick play for a touchdown, He hasn't shied away from the bright lights. He's found his playmakers, and he doesn't look like a freshman. I mean, a year ago, this young man's playing in the state playoffs in Oregon. Now he's in Salt Lake trying to win a ball game.
All right, short throw to the middle. Caught by Jalen Brown to the 30. And those throws, though, will keep clock running, although Oregon is no stranger to tempo, knowing they have to go the distance here. They need 71 more yards.
2 timeouts. Can you master the specific situation?
Freeman. Good tackle again in the open field by Thompson. Freeman was strong enough to get another couple of yards, but Donovan Thompson didn't lose the contact.
True freshman, trusts his eyes. This is where you can feel the muss. 7 TFL, see if they get one more.
Oregon's got 2 plays here. And Herbert doesn't need it. First down, Johnny Munt. Johnny Munt having a very nice day, and Oregon stays alive. That's his 5th catch.
Keep an eye. Darren Carrington, top of the screen, man-to-man coverage.
Screen set up. Utah was ready for this. They saw it coming. Really saw the whole Utah defensive front. They were prepared for that.
Recognize that tunnel screen. Oregon's made a living on that play so many times. If I'm the Ducks right now, Justin Herbert's seeing the field really well, Ted. I'm working the outside. It's man-to-man. Give him a clear picture.
At some point, he's got to start taking a shot here. You're under 50 seconds. Up the middle. There's the shot. And Bayless, and they're going to tack on. That's going to get a 15-yard tack on that's going to put Oregon in the red zone. And another moment that silences this entire stadium. Evan Bayless made the catch, and then the flag was thrown when the Utah defender hit him.
This is a big-time throw. Get the ball up and down, layer the ball.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 20. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Marcus Williams. So immediately we'll get review here.
That one I'm going to go against. Because I don't think there was an upward thrust. I don't think there was any intent. He didn't leave his feet. It was almost as though Bayless came down. I think you have to throw the flag. Clearly, first of all, an absolute dime throw. I wouldn't be shocked if they returned that one.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. To me, there's no leading. And again, we understand that the crown of the helmet now extends to the top of the face mask. Well, all of that, but go ahead.
He didn't. The rule, you have to initiate contact to the head or neck area of the defenseless opponent.
Right.
I don't think he initiated the contact. Right call, right flag in real time, 100%. And by the way, look, this game's still going on, but if you lose Marcus Williams next week.
After review, there is no targeting on the play. First down, Oregon at the dead ball spot.
So that, of course, won't sit well again. Mark Helfrich is still, and you can understand where he's coming from. But I'm going to agree with my partner. I think that was the right pullback of the flag. Hey, Oregon still has the ball at the 29-yard line here with 40 seconds. They now have plenty of time.
And look, they got 2 timeouts. That was basically a 3rd timeout. So they got time to talk to their team, take advantage of that time on the clock as they reviewed the potential penalty.
That was a 30-yard throw and a huge one from Herbert to Bayless. To the outside, and Munt can't handle it.
Tell you what I would do now if I was Oregon. I wouldn't continue with the zone read fake. This defensive line is pinning their ears back right now. They're doing such a nice job of getting up the field, staying in their lanes. Just get the ball out.
To the middle. And is there a flag? No. Hatfield on the cover against Carrington, and the Oregon sideline is again up in arms.
How about the senior, Dominic Hatfield? Man-to-man coverage. It's that left hand that often we see get called by the back judge. Nothing there. I like the no call.
Oregon didn't. 3rd down.
I'm working the middle of the field. See your slot, your tight ends. Johnny Munt at the bottom, now in motion.
Utah brings extra people. Flag down. This could be a free play. Herbert trying to make something happen. Still trying. He's got a man, but he didn't see him. Herbert will run, but in the meantime, clock burned on what I suspect is going to be a free play. It's a 5-yard on Utah, I believe. Yeah, offside.
Offside. Defense number 49. The penalty's fine. The result of the play is a first down. Timeout Oregon. Their second of the half.
It's so hard.
30 seconds in length.
It's so hard because I think that might have been Dimmick might have been lined up in the neutral zone. 49 at the bottom.
How about the effort, though?
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? The will to compete and win and strive and fight and battle and claw and be a true freshman on the road, one of the hardest places to play in the country.
When Herbert broke out left, he had Carrington.
Yeah.
And it was probably just a little too fast.
Yeah.
Everything was happening in the first-year player a little too fast. Because had he had the ability to gather and see it, he had a touchdown.
He's trying to gather his feet as he comes out of that. How about this? If you're going to win, you want it as hard as possible, man. You're right in the student section. The muss is right down in front of you, right next to your hash. You're on the sideline, nearest Utah.
Well,
how does this young offense, for redshirt freshman, true freshman quarterback, how do they operate?
No overtime. The game's going to be decided in these 14 seconds. And Utah's Pac-12 South hopes ride on these 14 seconds.
Darren Carrington in the slot, the top of your screen. I'm working him all play long.
And Utah blitzing Herbert to the end zone for Brown, incomplete. Utah brought the house. How about that?
Well, one of the beautiful things about this job is you get to meet with the coordinators, and I really feel on critical downs and distances, when the game matters, you go to your personality as a coordinator. Morgan Scalley, Kyle Whittingham, defensive-oriented. They're bringing the house. They bring 7 right in the face of Justin Herbert.
All right, Oregon can, in theory, they can run one play in the field here because they have a timeout. Likely have time for 2 plays.
Top of the screen again, man-to-man coverage. Your best versus their best. Darren Carrington.
And Utah brings extra again. They throw it to Carrington. He caught it out of the end zone. 1 play left.
Perfect call, man coverage. At times you see PI called there. I don't know, Ted. I think he's in.
Wow. Yeah, they're going to watch. They're going to look at this again. Mark Helfrich is signaling touchdown on the sideline. He just saw the replay.
The previous play is reviewed.
Wow.
Prior to Oregon using its last timeout.
Oh, man. Well, I'm on the Yogi bandwagon here. How great is ball? Is this a touchdown, a game winner for Darren Carrington, the right foot?
I think it is.
You see
red.
Yeah. Ooh. It looked like you saw just the slightest bit of dark turf between his shoe and the white boundary. And my goodness, we saw even in the NFL last Sunday how the white shoes don't help on that white boundary.
Remember, it's got to be conclusive that he's in. They rule incomplete. Conclusive evidence. And if it's a touchdown, it's Heartbreak City here in Salt Lake. And if it's not, gear up and let's get ready to go to the final play with 2 seconds left.
Wow. When replay was instituted, I don't know that anybody envisioned this. That this is going to be what decides a team's championship hopes. Utah's hopes ride on this. Well, not totally. There's 1 play left. If it's ruled, it stands on the field. If it's ruled a touchdown, this place is not going to be happy. And the Oregon sideline, you know, they're human beings. They're thinking, you know, after what we've gone through today, 1 call, let's get 1 call.
Yeah.
Right? You know that's what Mark Helfrich is thinking.
This is a
and he's
year.
got a case to see it because he saw this very replay, and Mark put his hands up on the sideline. Said touchdown.
I think it's a touchdown. I think it's conclusive. I think you see red right there. And for Oregon, I mean, they haven't gotten a break all season long. I mean, you go to this game, and the Dylan Mitchell touch on the punt results in a touchdown for Utah. In a game where you would not have expected them to compete at the line of scrimmage like they have. For Royce Freeman to run for buck 29.
We're going to find out if ball is great for Oregon here in a minute. If this ruling is overturned to a touchdown, it's going to be an incredible story. Oregon down 14-3 in the third quarter against a team that's playing for everything. And the importance of it is clearly apparent in how long this is taking, and I don't think there's anything else they can be looking for other than to be conclusive that you see that little bit of red turf between the edge of Carrington's shoe and the boundary. If you see it, that would be the visual indicator of a touchdown.
I would never say I got the best of vision, but I look like I saw some red.
I'm with you on that one too.
Take another look. That right foot clearly has the ball. There's red. Right there.
Couldn't, unlike a lot of replays, that's pretty good view. Can't get a much better one than that. Again, we understand the significance of this, therefore, and it's tough. This is very hard on spectators, and this is the part of replay that I feel for, because fans, now here it comes.
After review, the receiver's foot was inbounds and he maintained control of the ball going to the ground. The result of the play is a touchdown.
The emotions of football. Mark Helfrich was in disbelief that he actually got the call that he wanted, and Kyle Whittingham in disbelief that he's about to lose this game. Now, the other point to make here, does Oregon even try this? Remember, you can have a 2-point run back, right? If I'm Oregon, I don't even kick this ball.
Utah for a second and a half. 30 seconds in length.
If I'm Oregon, I go for 2.
Oh, yeah.
Just go for 2. Why would you even
run
kick?
The ball.
Just go for 2, run the ball, doesn't matter. Clock's not going to run. You're still going to have to kick off, but I can't kick this ball and risk having the flukish play where it could get run back for 2.
Just imagine the frustration. This entire time. How about that? How about that? Dakota Prukop, number 9.
Yeah, that's nice. Good catch, Yogi. Good catch. It's been very supportive of Herbert since the quarterback change was made. We always ask all the Oregon people about that because it's hard. It's hard for Dakota. He came here with all kinds of hope. Oregon's going to have a safety back here, which is very smart. Again, Mark Helfrich well aware of the potential 2-point defensive score here. Well, this is absolutely the right thing to do. There's no need to kick this ball. Now you have to kick the ball. And assume that you can just bang it out the back of the end zone and see if they can run an 80-yard play. Well, this is going to be what Utah needs. The incredible play that lives on, and I'm not sure how accurately it was called, but it does live as one of the greatest moments in college football history. And I've always wanted to point out, as great a moment as that was for Cal, that cost people jobs. And John Elway, voted the player of the century, the Pac-12, didn't go to a bowl game because of that play. Never played in a bowl game. John Elway, can you believe that? Never played in a bowl game, player of the century. And by the way, that was Joe Starkey's call. Joe, the longtime 42-year radio announcer for Cal football. Joe today's having the broadcast booth at Memorial Stadium in Berkeley named for him, and that's a great honor for Joe.
I'll tell you what, in this game, you look at the last couple years and the freaky plays that have happened on special teams. Might as well add to the lineage right here. Let's see what we get.
Let's see what Wogan does. Now he's going to kick it in the field of play. And did he touch that ball? Well, here it goes. Utah's Pac-12 South Championship hopes revolving around a fluke. Can Corey Butler-Bird make something happen? Wow. There's a flag down. So that's a forward throw. The flag was thrown in desperation. The flag won't matter now. The Oregon Ducks have stunned Utah.
Illegal forward pass, receiving team. Penalty is declined. The game is ended.
What a win. What a win for Oregon football. It won't erase what's been a very tough season, but for a week, it proves a lot about Mark Helfrich and his program.
24 players in the two deep are underclassmen. And for all the talk about everyone who's not in the locker room saying that this locker room is fractured and Mark Helfrich doesn't have a hold of it, clearly isn't accurate. You look at how they fought and battled. This is an easy game where you can just lay down on the road with the top teams in the country. And physically, Ted, is where they didn't back off. And what a great game. What a great rivalry this has become, these two teams. And for Oregon and Mark Helfrich, hats off to keeping your team together and battling.
Well, it stings so much for Utah. USC is still alive now with this result in the Pac-12 South. Oregon comes to Utah and comes back to score 27 in the second half. And a sparkling catch, and really a sparkling throw, both sides. Herbert to Carrington. We hope you enjoyed it. What a way to kick off with the game of the day. But we've got another great one coming. The big game is next.